a reasonable ranking. Early in the season yet, so Mythic's not too populated. But hopefully we can do some climbing today. Finally found a few decks I like that aren't just Temur Clover. Ooh. Flourishing Fox card style. It's very cute, but I feel like it just feels wrong somehow. And I have never played any kind of card like Soul Seer in any deck that is so cheap. I should get it. Alright, fine. Well done, Wizards. You snared me. So this is what I'm going to be starting off the stream with. Blue-Black Flash. Basically, Slitherwisp is a card that looked really broken when Ikoria was spoiled and then was quickly overshadowed by Companions, but now the Companions are no longer here to overshadow it. I think this is the kind of card that has the raw power to maybe stand up to some of the Uro decks. So far I'm 7-0 with this build, playing against a variety of stuff. Compared to the deck I was playing on ladder today, I'm trying 2 copies of Gadwick the Wizened over Rewind and Shark Typhoon. I noticed a few times it was kind of frustrating to get to the point late in the game where I hit 7 or 8 lands, but I didn't have a Spectral Sailor, or Spectral Sailor's card draw was just too slow. The red-blue flash decks back in pre-Theros Standard played Gadwick, and it was a great card there. So I'm hoping that this can serve sort of a role of refilling our hand against control, and also beating up on aggro. It's vulnerable to dispute, but so is everything, so whatever. Sea Dash or Octopus is a card that might be a little bit out of place. I like it as sort of a way to punish opponents for holding up certain kinds of interaction against us. And you can kind of slap it on a Spectral Sailor or a Brineborn Cutthroat to really quickly repay the loss of card advantage. It sort of can get out of hand quickly, but it's also awkward in some spots when a clog board makes it hard to get through, for example. Only 2 Shark Typhoon might be wrong. This deck is a deck basically where we don't want too many expensive cards because we really want to have a lot of cheap interaction for the early game. It's possible I could cut a Brazen Borrow for another Typhoon or something like that, but right now between Gadwick and Typhoon I think that's enough high-end interaction. But a lot of the numbers in this deck could be modified a lot. I kind of put it together almost at random. The sideboard's also kind of a mess. So hopefully as we play more matches with this, we're going to get a sense for what exactly we can do to firm it up. But the idea feels promising. Hey there! We Lunatic JFB, and let me get a cardboard live up for y'all. So that'll be up in just a moment. Well, it looks like Cardboard Live might not be responding. Hope it's not down. Lunatic, yeah, maybe. I think that having access to Nightpack Ambusher probably leads you to play quite a bit differently than if you don't have access to that. But I should look up that list. There are some, I mean, I don't play a lot of Flash haven't played a lot of Flash archetypes lately, so there may just be cards I'm completely forgetting. Alright, hand looks good. No counter magic, which is a little iffy, but we have enough pressure to fight an early Tef. And what do I want off Temple? Ideally a counter spell. How do I feel about a land? I'm thinking no. I'm thinking no. We can play everything in hand here. Weed and Magic, congrats on doing pretty well with Adventures. Oh, Lunatic, no, I would never play the Rogue Lady. People have asked me about that, so this is, I can't actually remember the name of the card, which makes me feel a bit silly. I'm just going to jam Brineborn Cutthroat now. This is probably a Growth Spiral Mystical Dispute deck, because everything is, so might as well not give them the chance. And of course, even if you're going to throw down the Cutthroat after the Growth Spiral, well, if you can throw down the Cutthroat, kind of end of their turn, they can Growth Spiral into Dispute, so it's all just a pain in the butt. Yeah, Thieves Guild Enforcer is really bad. I don't consider that card even slightly playable, and I have no idea why anybody would. Like, the card Uro is just a card. Like, if you're, like, fueling your opponent's Uro, and then if they escape their Uro, your card turns back into a 1-mana 1/1, I just have no idea why you would ever do that to yourself. Okay, so this looks to probably be Reclamation, although maybe Blue-Green Flash. Reclamation matchup should generally be pretty good. We are a little bit hampered by the sorry absence of counter magic here. But we got a good aggressive start. We can eliminate a shark token. And if this gets countered by a dispute or something, then Brineborn Cutthroat can attack through a shark. Weed Magic, this was the deck. All right, so opponent is actually, is in fact Blue-Green Flash. That's good to know. So we've got to be on the lookout for Nightpack Ambusher. One sad thing about this deck is that Eliminate doesn't kill Nightpack Ambusher. We got some choices to make here. I think I like the idea of going for Sailor on my opponent's turn. I want to get Cutthroat big enough to block this Frilled Mystic pretty fast, and ideally bigger than a Nightpack Ambusher. And it's going to be hard for them to counter Sailor. They can't quench it, they can't dispute it. They'd pretty much need another Frilled Mystic. But yeah, it was this deck. I think I could have gotten Mythic with a bunch of different things. There are a few decks I've been playing that feel good this season, but... Alright, well, Blue-Green Flash means I'm not just going to die out of nowhere. Hopefully they don't have another Frilled here. Great. Okay. So the question is, do I get a little bit extra power on the field here, or do I try and save this for later? I feel like my opponent probably has Nightpack Ambusher. Just a feeling I'm getting. Boy, Eliminate's not going to be useful here at all, huh? I think I'll wait. I think I'll wait on the shark. Opponent has a shark of their own, I can eliminate it, but I don't even really want to bother doing that. I'm just going to play this land and pass. I'd rather just spend a mana drawing a card this turn rather than eliminating a shark. Opponent's probably playing around counter magic they imagine I have, which is great. Love for them to continue doing that. Growth Spiral's fine. Hoping they don't have too many copies of Hydroid Krasis in their flash deck. Okay, more Growth Spirals, so if it's Nightpack Ambusher, they're not doing it, which is great. Admittedly, the way the deck is currently built, I don't have a ton of Ambusher answers. At least right now. Post-board, I get some Noxious Grasps. The card I really want to find is Slitherwisp at some point. But probably in this semi-mirror, the blue-green deck has the edge. They just get bigger Shark Typhoons. And they can probably let Slitherwisp not ever resolve pretty reliably. Still going to try and save this Typhoon until the Shark is big enough to fight Wolves. Rewind is really good, though. Obviously, Rewind's not going to fight through something like a Mystical Dispute all that well, but I like the second Brineborn Cutthroat, too. Still just going to wait. If I have two Cutthroats, then whatever exchanges of firepower my opponent and I have going on should favor me in the long run. Okay, Big Shark is fine. I can stop that with my own Big Shark if I have to. In response, do I want to cast anything? I'm still going to wait for my opponent's turn. Yeah, I'll let this come in once. My shark could just be bigger next turn. Okay, so that was allowed to come down. That's great. And I think I'm just going to go for the card off Sailor. It does give them a window to resolve a Nightpack Ambusher if they want to. But with triple Cutthroat now, I should be able to contain a Nightpack Ambusher pretty well. Still no... Well, I have one counterspell, I guess. If I start attacking with this Cutthroat, I would not mind trading this for an Ambusher. If they have a Shark, I can just eliminate it. But having to eliminate their Shark means that I don't get my even bigger Shark. If they have Brazen Borrower, I guess... Problem is, if they have Brazen Borrower, my plan to make a bigger Shark and eat their Shark kind of falls really flat. Still gonna say no attacks. This is possibly me being way too timid. It's a tough spot. Alright, they did have another Typhoon. So need them not to have a Borrower. But they do have 6 cards in hand, which is a lot of cards in hand. Let's give it our best shot. Guess they could also have something weird like Tail's End. And yeah, any interaction they had for Shark was instant speed, so honestly, I think it could have been defensible to cycle this after they tapped out, maybe, but I imagine main deck Tail's End can't be common. I'm looking at their graveyard for some reason. Okay. Ooh. I did not think that was going to work. Awesome. So we're still keeping up. Okay, opponent's got the Uro, we've got the Eliminate, so that's fine. Kind of fine. I mean, the opponent's still getting to draw 2 cards for free. But we're not straight dead to Uro. And if they do tap out for this, I get to start hitting them, which is nice. Would really, 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 really like a Slither Wisp right now. Hey, there's my boy. There's my boy. All right. So this I'm definitely casting now. Well, not now, but eliminate the Uro first. And honestly, I think I'm just going in at my opponent pretty hard here. I can take a couple hits from the Shark, and this is a really good opportunity to be aggressive. And then we Slither before they can counter it. Not going to shock this in because it gives me an extra hit off the Shark they can use. And do I cast this now or wait? I feel like it might be better just to presume my opponent has infinite counter magic. But even if they do counter this, that's still... I'm trading basically 2 counters in the Cutthroats for having other 2-1 in play. I think I'll wait. I think I'll wait. Tricky match. I do wonder if I'm supposed to just board out Rewind in this matchup. It seems pretty bad. Against what I assume are going to be 4 copies of Mystical Dispute from them. Just a hard card to use. Yep, they get some value off the Quench, not surprised by that. But sometimes every mana they have to spend matters. It means their Sharks are smaller. Yeah, Drunken Vike, I haven't actually run into Rakdos yet, and I could fully believe that Rakdos might be a bad matchup for you. Alright, so at this point I can rewind a Nightpack Ambusher. What I can't do is rewind and get through 2 copies of Mystical Dispute if they have that. Start with Temple, see what's on top. Not right now, thanks. And I think I'm just swinging with this 5/5. If they have a 3rd Shark, well, I'll just have to live with that. Also, I want to draw with Sailor first there, but I don't think so. If they go for a Shark, I will draw with Sailor in response to see if I can find a Borrower and eliminate. Alright, 3rd Shark. One's definitely winning the Shark Wars here. C-Dasher Octopus. Well, that doesn't do, like, a ton for me. But it does at least cycle. Not sure yet if I'm going to cast that or just try to draw off of Sailor. Plus possible the opponent goes for a bunch of card draw into like an Uro or something. I might get to rewind the Uro. I haven't seen an ambusher yet. I bet they're in there somewhere. Ooh, that's a brave attack with that shark. Okay. Wonder if they've got the 4th in there somewhere. Yep, Drunken Vike, this is a good deck. I just love that Lofty Denial means you can play a bunch of counter spells that are all playable against Tef. That's like a really good feeling. Wouldn't be surprised to see an ambusher come down here. Something that really scares me is like Sublime Epiphany. That is absolutely a card the opponent could be running. Borrower on Slitherwisp, wow. I don't know how long they had that one for, but they were really patient not using it against Sharks if they had it for a while. So I've now got Slitherwisp plus Rewind to back up. Let's just try the big Cutthroat. If they Night Pack Ambusher, I trade with Ambusher and Frilled Mystic. And then I can resolve Slitherwisp after they do that. Not dead to this one shark. If they have the 4th shark, I'm in a lot of trouble. But honestly, who would even have the 4th shark here? Okay, so Brineborn Cutthroat. I think I pull the Slitherwisp trigger here. And then try to rewind. Yeah, I'm going to pull the Slitherwisp trigger, see if... I basically want my opponent to start casting their spells before they're going Cutthroat. Because Cutthroat comes down as a... I believe Cutthroat comes down as a 2 when they do get to double block, but... Still don't want it getting bigger. Ooh, we got him. We got him. Get got. So rewind the opponent's rewind. Slitherwisp is down, and now I'm going to cast Sea Dasher Octopus, and should actually just throw this down on Sailor, I guess. I'd rather have a slightly bigger flyer attacking them, or... I mean, I'm casting this now because if I draw a counter spell, I can just stop their Cutthroat, and then they're in a huge amount of trouble. I think I just do the thing that's cheaper even if it doesn't make the separate body. No, that's wrong, that's wrong. I'm not going to die next turn. Our opponent could easily die next turn, so I'm going to cast this. Still draw off Sailor if I miss, but I did not miss. We hit the Denial, which is awesome. Not just a river in Egypt. The opponent does get a row out next turn, but got a lot of cards that blow them out of the water here, including Brazen Borrower. But it's going to be tight. Uro is no small thing. Also got to watch out for the opponent borrowing. I guess they can't really get rid of Sailor very easily. That's some small saving grace. Okay, got him down to 4 cards. 6 lands. Gonna need to find something for the Uro. Keep in mind they have this Brazen Borrower up. Opt is definitely a card I've thought about. It's obviously great with Brineborn Cutthroat. It's pretty hard to fit in enough kind of top end plus flash for Slitherwisp. Okay, they didn't attack with a shark. They do get to cast Borrower, which means I'm still going to potentially be facing lethal. Quench is honestly not bad. Could certainly be worse. Brazen Borrower, there is the card I was looking for. Alright, so I can fight through a pretty substantial amount of counter magic here. The question is, do I want to wait until my opponent... I think I don't want to invest in attacking this turn. Like, if I try and borrow the Uro, the opponent has 5 mana and 4 cards to take me on. I feel like they're going to try and cast this Borrower end of turn. I would love to bounce the Uro in response to that. Okay, I'm going to wait. See what my opponent goes for. Would expect to see Borrower. Growth Spiral. Okay. Yeah, you know what? In response to that, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to bounce the Uro here. While they're tapped down before they draw this card. Still think they have a Nightpack Ambusher in hand somewhere. Because they always have one, chat. They always have one. Ops, love it. Of course, this does make it... Between Opt and Growth Spiral, they just get to bring Uro back again next turn, so maybe I shouldn't love this as much, but... Just having that bounce spell resolved is nice. Now I think I still just jam Borrower before they can do anything about it. Chip them, get this down, nice. Can't quench anything here. I can quench their Borrower, though. If they go for Borrower, I think I probably do just quench it, because I don't see Quench really doing much. Ooh, Blast Zone charging up. Okay, that's scary. Losing both Cutthroats is not a thing that makes me happy. And they can pop that and jam Uro, but they can't do all of that and get around Quench. I think I have to let Uro come down, see if they keep hitting lands. They do. So if they jam this, I can quench it, but that still doesn't take them off a Blast Zone, which is unpleasant. Maybe I can just draw another Slitherwisp and then just completely embarrass them with card advantage? That would be nice. Wouldn't mind that. Ooh, this card makes things really hard. They're being... Maybe they're not being too conservative, not attacking with the Shark, I don't know. Alright, So Zone basically wipes out both Cutthroats. There's not much I can do about that. I feel like the card selection off Temple is worth a little bit more than the extra land is. Gadwick the Wizened seems really good. Very interested in that one. I think I start by just attacking with one Cutthroat, see if my opponent's just going to pop the Blast Zone when I do that. Yep, I can Octopus over Cutthroat, so let's do that. So here's the fun play to get around Blast Zone. Falls a little flat to exactly rewind, but otherwise I can probably fight through many of the things my opponent would want to do here. Frilled Mystic, that works too. Although Frilled Mystic means I'm going to resolve a Gadwick, which is really, really good. So I am going to lose Cutthroat, but then I resolve Gadwick. Gadwick basically means Uro never bothers me again. Abanamani, so if I attack with all, they have Blast Zone to kill both Cutthroats, especially if they counter the Octopus like this. And I'm only attacking with 9 power worth of creatures, and they have a blocker, so I definitely didn't have lethal, given the Blast Zone. And I think I just jam Gadwick with Quenchman up, so unless both of their remaining cards are Mystical Disputes, this should work. Just cast this for X equals 4. They can't cast Brazen Borrower, which means they're not going to get lethal on me here. So here goes. Just need them not to have 2 copies of Mystical Dispute in hand. 0 copies of Mystical Dispute in hand. You love to see it. Spectral Sailor is also great. Okay, I'm going to hold up Quench for now, but thinking Sailor plus second Gadwick probably brings us home here. Gadwick looking absurd there, although I guess this would have been maybe a Shark Typhoon if I didn't have the Gadwick in the deck, and Shark Typhoon would have not been a... would have been no laughing matter here either. Okay, so Not super concerned. I guess the opponent could attack with Frilled Mystic, but it just trades with Sea Dash or Octopus, so that's fine. And since I have another Sailor, I don't even care about double blocking the Shark. Like, that's a thing I'll do. I guess they could try and counter the Sailor coming down. Maybe this is a single block. No, let's get the Shark off the field. Opponent just doesn't have that many cards left in hand. Yep, it's a big one so far. What are the times? Opponent's at 19 minutes, I'm at 18 minutes. Gotta keep an eye on that, given how this first one's gone. Worth noting that Quench still has value even this late in the game. Could still force them to lose a Castle Vantress activation. They do have 4 spells in hand, it looks like. I'm not going to try and resolve Sailor through their Quenches and such here. Brazen Borrower is just fantastic. Love that draw. Start with Sailor. Tapping down the Frilled Mystic, I guess, because I'm going to just bounce Uro if I can. Oh yeah, so the risk just jamming the opponent into a box. I might try tapping down Uro now. I could just try and cycle this. It's basically like a draw 2 or something. Almost certainly gets countered though, and I've got Sailor to just be like a consistent source of card draw. So I don't really feel the need. I just think this Uro is never attacking again, so I can kind of just hang tight. If they do like Castle Vantress stuff, I might respond to that. Okay, borrowing Gadwick. So in response to that, I think I go for borrowing Uro. See if they've got Rewind or another Frilled Mystic by now. Nope, just this Borrower, which is great because it means that they can't get Uro back or I'll quench them. Or can't save her or I'll quench them. And I'm just going to start jamming things while the opponent's tapped low. I've got 2 flying blockers for their 2 Borrowers. Oh, Lofty Denial. Okay, well, let's just cast that then. Do I? Do I care about Gadwick getting bounced here? I just feel like Lofty Denial is going to be really dead if I don't use it here. I'm just going to use it. It's whatever. Stinky Dude. Ashiok's Erasure. I don't know. It's like a 4-mana counterspell. It doesn't impress me that much as a kind of generically without thinking about it much. It's like very easy for most decks to interact with. It gets bounced by Tef. I just think it's nice against Uro exactly, I suppose. Like in this match, it would be potentially pretty good. It's just 4-mana counterspells have a huge, huge presumption against them. Yeah, all right. Let's just get everything out of our hands here, opponent. Sidetrack, I have not touched my camera settings, but let's remember to maybe make sure the resolution's good. Okay, for all that, my opponent did manage to stop me from drawing a card off Sailor. I've got, I think, 2 Brazen Borrowers left in my deck at this point. No, 1 Brazen Borrower left, 1 Eliminate. 1 more Shark Typhoon. Yeah, Shumagarath. Oh, this is a good chance for me to talk about what I'm not doing, which is playing Cunning Nightbonder. Cunning Nightbonder is a 2/2 for 2 mana that is like an extremely bad Paradise Druid. I just don't see the appeal of it at all. I think if you're playing a deck like Flash, you're already struggling with how low-powered your cards are compared to those of most of your opponents. You really need all of your cards to like trade for something your opponent's doing. I think Cunning Nightbonder sort of fails at that task. Okay, so Uro's out. Opponent cannot bring it back yet. Nissa, who shakes the world. Okay. Well, now I've got a game going, I guess. I'm supposed to trade Gadwick here. At least there's no Hydrate Crisis, I suppose. Interesting. Huh. Definitely in for trading with the Breeding Pool. I don't know about the Frilled Mystic. So if I make this trade, I'm hitting my opponent with Sea Dasher Octopus. Oh man. Oh man. I think Gadwick's going to resolve. How many Quenches and Mystical Dispute type cards does my opponent have left? And Whirlwind Denial, I guess, versus actual hard counters. I saw Rewind from them. We've seen 2 Frilled Mystics so far. I haven't seen a single Lampack Ambusher, which is still spooking me. Alright, I'm going to go for blocking Gadwick on this Breeding Pool. Taken 3. I feel like my opponent's about to go for the biggest shark in the world, but then I'm about to Gadwick them. Rhineborn Cutthroat. Okay, that's not scary. So Uro still can't come back. They can block Sea Dasher now. Okay, if they hit... Oh, shit, they can get an arrow out. Oh, man, I cursed. Alright, so Uro's coming out, but I get another Gadwick. I'm thinking that this is hopefully the point in the game where Gadwick just ends things. If I draw a bunch of cheap counters off of Gadwick, though, that's bad. I have a lot of cheap counters left in my deck. This is tight. I really wasn't expecting the Nissa. Brineborn Cutthroat's great, though. Brineborn Cutthroat is a cheap flash card that taps stuff down with Gadwick. How much am I drawing off Gadwick here? A lot of things in my deck cost 2 mana. I would like to tap both of these things and hit my opponent's Nissa to death here, if I can. Ping down to 1 off this. I'm thinking 4 feels about right here, given that I'm also drawing off of the Cutthroat. Okay, Slitherwisp. Slitherwisp is my boy here. Slitherwisp looks great. Okay, okay. So between Slitherwisp, Sailor, Cutthroat, I think we're going to be fine, probably. Tap the Uro. Draw another Slitherwisp. Now we're talking. Okay, so I've got access to Sailor plus Cutthroat. I could also play another Slitherwisp. Another Slitherwisp. And then I have Shock, Watery Grave, play Spectral Sailor. Tap down the Flyer or the Uro. Alright, well I know y'all came to see this. I'm just going to play the Slitherwisp. I'm not sure this is right. It may be that Shocking is a little loose. I could also just draw an island. No luck. Okay. So, shock that in. One's not dead, are they? I can ping them to hit them for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then ping them for 3. No, they're not even close to dead. Okay, so we're going to kill Nissa. That doesn't work, though. Oh, shoot, I can't kill Nissa. Never mind, we're not going to kill Nissa. Nissa doesn't matter. We're going to hit our opponent, draw a card, hit our opponent. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Currently it's 16 cards in the library, so that's not a big problem. Temple of Deceit goes, Watery Grave goes. I guess I can't play that out. It's got 60 minutes, I've got 13, so I gotta be careful. This is where the opponent shows me they've had Hydrate Crisis in their deck this whole time. Nope. Are they running out of stuff to do? Or are they running out of stuff to do? This feels like an appropriate end of the game. They can Uro all they want to, but in the end, Slitherwisp is the real bad Mamma Jamma. The problem is, oh no, I have 3 flying blockers, so we just easily tap Uro here. Happy to trade off the Slitherwisp because I've now drawn all the cards I need to kill my opponent. You're not gaining life here. I've got removal and bounce and more Slitherwisps. It's all great. Guess I just trade 2 sailors here. Don't need the sailors anymore. There's Nightpack Ambusher. About time, little guy, about time. Gadwick looking amazing here. Was not winning this game without Gadwick. Do want to make sure we win this turn pretty quickly, though. So we'll just go with eliminate pops the borrower. Now the question is, can I win? If I get behind in game 2, I'm going to concede very quickly to make sure I have time for game 3, of course. Deny that. Just casting my denials here because they let me tap creatures, so it doesn't really matter whether they resolve or not. Oh, was I targeting the bar with the eliminate the whole time? I lost track of that. It's whatever. Okay, well we might lose on time, but I feel like we won the moral victory with that one. Yeah, we'd Magic. I don't even know if that was a comeback. I feel like it was just an even, hard-fought game the whole time. I know we're not used to that in Magic these days, the hard-fought comebacks, but that's how it felt. Alright, so Uro exists. Draft Digger's Cage is slightly problematic because even if it stops Uro, it can just get Brazen Borrowed. But probably still worth trying. What do I not like? Rewind is really clumsy. Just gets Mystical Disputed. So does Gadwick, but I think Gadwick's probably worth it for late game power, where Rewind just doesn't have as much of that. Sea Dash or Octopus was pretty useless. Happy to cut these. Probably want it to go up to 4 disputes. Want some number of gusts. Probably eliminate goes. Obviously, Brineborn Cutthroat's pretty good for them, but Noxious Grasp for Nissa Ambusher is probably worth it because it also kills Uro. Could go to 3 Sailors maybe. Could go to cut the Quenches. I'm not sure I even want Gust. Some amount. Let me cut the Rewinds. I think I'll try it like this. Yeah, I don't think I want Cage. I think it's a little too narrow, but we'll see. Again, if I get behind early, I'm just going to scoop the game and go to game 3. Drunken Vike, you and me too, you and me too. Okay, so we're going to be trying to play quick. No thinking aloud. Keep. Slitherwisp, that's my boy. That's my boy. Can I get a 2-mana counterspell? Would love a nice counterspell. Diet Pepsi Weed Magic. Diet Pepsi through a straw for my teeth. Not a fancy guy. Brineborn Cutthroat in response to that, I'll just Brineborn Cutthroat. Every time my opponent trades Brineborn Cutthroat, they're gaining a slight advantage because their Cutthroats can fuel Uros, where mine can't. Still, I trade in a heartbeat. Spectral Sailor looks amazing with Slitherwisp. The opponent can basically never let a Slitherwisp resolve, so to the extent they tap mana, they have to be very careful. And Uro just being a regular thing that forces them to tap mana seems awesome. I think I want to save Sailor for post-Wisp. If they go for Ambusher here, I can just Sailor plus Dispute. Dark Typhoon means I'm just going to go Slitherwisp. You poor, poor fool, opponent. You poor, poor fool. And Sailor, and I don't have to worry about Nissa because I have this Grasp. And a Gust. So it's looking pretty good here. See if they have some kind of answer to Slitherwisp they boarded in. I don't know what that would be, but maybe they have something. Is a little annoying that Noxious Grass doesn't stop sharks. Okay, borrow Slither Wisp, that's fine. Can probably just force that one through, honestly. Got a Mystical Dispute, and then another Sailor's backup. I'm in. So my current plan is just to win this game of Magic. Do I just Stam the Wisp? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. If this doesn't work out, then maybe I can just leave this sad life behind. If they have Quench and Dispute, I'm sad, but it really did seem like they were skimping. Ooh, it really did seem like they were skimping on their deep counters there. All right, let's Sailor. Sail, do, sail, do. And this blocks Cutthroat, which is great. Got a Dispute for an Uro. Everything's coming up a little beep. Nightpack Ambusher. Can't stop that. That's alright. I've got the Gust for you. Got the Gust for you. I don't need to do it yet, though. So swing with 2 Sailors. No sharks in the water today. I think I'll cast Cutthroat now. Does give my opponent the chance to cast a Dispute if they have one, but if they do, I'm open. I basically really wanted to hit a land drop this turn. Okay. Ambusher doesn't scare me. Cutthroat's entering combat. That's ambitious. That's ambitious. Didn't think so. Didn't think so. We'll stop on their second main. I could have gone for all this stuff in their upkeep, but I just don't think they're going to be able to stop Grasp into Double Dispute. That just resolves? Ooh, get him. Get him. Uro, Titan, and Nature's Wrath. Do I Double Dispute this? Could just Gust it. Yeah, I think I try for the Gust here. Pump the Cutthroat so that it can actually attack through their Cutthroat. The big game. If they have a counterspell, I'm fine with that. Then I can Double Dispute her when it comes out. They did get used to their Quench. But that's okay. They have a Fabled Passage, which means Uro can try to come out. We do Double Dispute it. Meanwhile, the opponent's taking a lot of damage. Noxious Grasp is also pretty good as a backup plan. Means I might just let Uro resolve and just grasp them. Flash Mirrors are definitely fun when you're winning. Highly recommended. Honestly, maybe I just make a 4/4 Shark here and don't even bother to try and grasp the Uro yet. I think that's what I'm going to go for. Means Cutthroat's smaller, but I also have a 4/4 that's attacking. Okay, they're not interested in attacking with their Shark anymore, that's fine. Okay, keep in mind that Sailors get to start drawing cards pretty soon. Probably better to do this on my opponent's turn. Rewind, no thanks. Alright, so now they unfortunately get an extra counter on their Cutthroat, which they shouldn't have had. That was... If I actually get to kill their Uro, which is something... probably wasn't right on the whole. Two cards in the yard, that's fine. Nis is now something of a concern. I've gone through both my Noxious Grasps. And I can't dispute her. Gust is a good pickup. I think Temple's worth it. I can't imagine I'm not going to be playing Gust and or Dispute this next turn, so I might as well get a bit of card selection at the same time. smells like possibly a big shark, so I'm not going to be attacking my shark in just yet. Growth Spiral, okay. Let's Cutthroat's a good size. Another one, sure. Yeah, it's interesting. Opponent's doing a pretty good job trying to turn it around. Now how do I dispute this? Yeah, I think I do. Lets them block my 4/4 shark, which I don't love. So I can handle the Cutthroats. Having Slitherwisp is a huge boon to me here. I swing at this Cutthroat, I'm going to double block with my Cutthroat and the shark. This has not been the smoothest played game, unfortunately. Wow, flooding a lot too. Yeah, let's see. Probably not flooding that much, if I'm being fair. Alright, so they didn't have the shark before. Do I think they still don't have the shark? Darn, I really don't think I can risk. I really think just playing the stall game, as long as I've got Sailor and they don't, seems better. They do have Castle Vantress. I have to imagine Sailor is a bit better than Castle Vantress here. They double topped. Okay. Still, drawing 2 cards is a lot of cards to be drawing. There's a Brazen Borrower, that's nice. Still think I'm just going to draw another card. Gadwick's also nice. Alright, so now I'm going to attack with my shark because I have a Borrower, which lets me punish them very badly for tapping out for their own shark. As well as a Gadwick, which reduces the threat of the Cutthroats substantially. Alright, they're going for a decent-sized shark, which I will bounce before they can draw another card here. If they dispute, that's fine. Pay for that. And feels like this is just the time to resolve Gadwick. All the resolving's good. Alright, that's a lot of lands. We still have the Sailors. We got this, which cantrips with Slitherwisp. We've got the Gust for a Nissa or an Uro. Feel like we'll be okay. Can even chump with one of the Sailors to no real consequence. Yeah, I'll chump with one of the Sailors. Seems worth it to keep life a little bit higher with the one attack my opponent actually gets before we start Gadwicking them. They also might just die. Yikes! That's a lot of lands. Alright. We'll jam this. Tap the Uro. Draw another land. Okay. I'm going to put this down, see if I can scry my way to an actual magic spell. Slitherwisp is a very good magic spell. Okay. Gust hits Uro and taps it even if it doesn't remove it, so that's fine. And to be fair, I've been throwing out a lot of cheap spells. We're what, through 5, 10, 11, 16 lands and 30 cards? It's a mild flood. Could be worse. Alright, so Gadwick is just dominating the board here. Yeah, I think I'm still just tapping the Uro. At this point, I'm okay letting them hit me with the Cutthroats and it's about drawing their Slitherwisp. Rewind is fine. I got what I wanted out of that spell anyway. I guess they could Whirlwind denial the Gadwick activation. But I can pay for that if I want to. Ooh, no attack with the big Cutthroat. That's the beginning of the end. Hey, Greyhound and Whippets. Well, I'm glad you're able to catch this one. And hope you're still enjoying this one that I'm playing. Okay, so let's just start here. One's going to have a really hard time countering enough things not to die. Alright, Frilled Mystic does help, though. Frilled Mystic is pretty good at that. Okay, Lofty Nile's pretty good. If I just bounce the Cutthroat, yeah, I think this probably just wins the game, and to bounce the Cutthroat, tap the Mystic. This is just quite lethal. Alright, that's over then. Good. Opponent did give us a fight, but it wasn't enough, not with Gadwick. Yeah, love the addition of this card. The Mono Blue Hybrid Krasis. Much more fun than the original. Good games, Cargo Pants. Okay, well that's a great start to the night. Love that. Good night, Greyhound. Let's do some more Blue-Black Flash. Yeah, Juvile. I really like them and have this one recorded on YouTube. I could absolutely see coming back and watching it at some point in the future. Ooh, almost attack with 30 creatures too. Not too bad. Yeah, Snow Monkey. Gadwick, even when I was playing Temur Clover, which was good against Blue-Red Flash, Gadwick was always terrifying to see. Physiel for you, my opponent? Totally fine to say GG even if you weren't. I was just curious. Well, this hand's not great, but it's got lands and spells, and I don't want to go to 5. But, yeah, Sea-Dash or Octopus definitely looks awkward in these hands. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's really lackluster. But at least we found a quench for Teferi. The big danger in a hand like this is just that Teferi can come down and completely oust you. Actually, I should play a Swamp that turn. I was trying to disguise I'm playing black, but there's no real reason to do that. Whereas now I can't play Slitherwisp if I happen to draw on turn 3, so that was a punt. Ooh, JFB, yeah, that is what I'm talking about. Nope. No, stop, get out of here. Ooh, punished in exactly the way I predicted. You guys cast Sea-Dash or Octopus? So what's more likely? Everyone has a way to deal with Octopus in their hand, or that they have like a Mystical Dispute? I think I just cast Octopus now, honestly. Let's just get around any Mystical Disputes they might be running. They have Teferi Master of Time, they can lock it down. I see, Fizzy. Yeah, sometimes people will pop up in the chat after we played and then tell me good games, so I like to check. I wouldn't call it BM. Alright, opponent had the 1/1 Shark there. It's not going to stop Sea-Dash or Octopus, though. Oh, they missed a land drop. Can't be doing that now, opponent. Can't be doing that now. Alright, so not running out Slitherwisp because I could just get Shatter the Skied. Jolrael and Wanvili Recluse is fine. Is that all I've got? Okay, that's all I've got. So they're just completely fried. Don't see them getting out of this one. I think I attack before Templing because I would not mind drawing an island and having Borrower plus like bounce plus cast Borrower available. Drown in the Lockweed. Probably not. I think it's just way too important that your cards be good on turn 2. Would be my inclination. Alright, yeah, I'll just go for the bounce on Jolrael, and that way even if they do shatter here, I just get to cast Octopus afterwards. Actually, that was silly. I shouldn't have bounced Jolrael there. I should have bounced Jolrael in response to my opponent drawing a card, because now if they have shatter, they get to keep Jolrael. That was just a bad play for me, but didn't matter. They didn't find the lands and died. Isaiah, if you have a deck list, you're welcome to post in the chat. As long as chat isn't like hyper lively, I'm okay with people doing that. And it looks like we're at a reasonably quiet now. All right, Bant. Bant, 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 bant. So we're going to see Mystical Disputes come in from them, which makes Rewind a little worse on my end. Obviously, it's nice to have a card that's a hard counter against big mana decks. How do I feel against Gadwick here? It's not as much of like an absurd mirror breaker, because if you tap out for this, your opponent gets to tap out for something similar to Gadwick on the opposing side. So I might cut Gadwick's. Noxious Grasp is good against Nissa specifically. Can hit Tef as well, of course. I probably want those. I want the Disputes, because countering Tef is very, very important. Eliminate just seems worse than Noxious Grasp. Can hit Narset, but that's about it. Spectral Sailor could see dropping to like a 3 of. Maybe cutting 1 Gadwick. Sea Dasher Octopus is actually kind of great, though. It's especially good with Sailor. Borrower. Borrower is a good one to cut. That's not as exciting against them. And I'm not really that interested in Gust here. This is more of an anti-aggro card. Like, I don't really want to be bouncing their Hydroid Crasises to the top of their deck, and I would rather just have a hard counter in pretty much any spot I'd want Gust. I think Borrower is still nice for board management and applying pressure. You do actually have to kill these people, because otherwise they're going to Crasis you. It's possible Shark Typhoon is not a card I want, but I really don't know what my sideboard strategy is yet. But alright, Sea Dasher Octopus definitely did the work there. So, sorry little guy for what I was saying about you before. This is close. This probably doesn't look close to y'all. Spectral Sailor and Rewind is such a nice combo. I do have a turn 1 Temple to help me draw more spells. This is... I obviously can't stop a Tef, but with Temple plus Sailor I have a lot of ways to find something that stops a Tef. But this is probably a Mole still. Ew. Well, this is worse, but kind of priced into keeping it. Drano, yeah, it's a little risky against Shark, but Bant is very good at presenting a wide range of threats such that it's really hard to take care of all of them, sadly. Okay, can I get a... Nope. Alright, so if they just have Tef, I'm dead. Maybe they'll be a bit forbearing about running it out. They'll try to like do Tef plus dispute it. I have a feeling that's not what's going to happen, or is this just going to be Jolrael? It's Jolrael. Alright, super happy to go for bouncing that if they have a dispute for petty theft. I love seeing dispute hit. Okay. They tried to do some bluffing over there. Didn't work. We saw through that. Fairy Time Raveler. Alright, so we'll just borrow and we begin this little dance. That's alright. Having Gadwick here is nice. Cutthroat. Alright, so we've got the choice of Gadwick for 1 versus, like, just casting Borrower. Part of me kind of likes Gadwick for 1 just because it lets me shut down anything that stops me from taking down the Tef. Like, if I cast Borrower and they go, like... Yeah, I'm going to try for Gadwick here. I think I just like Gadwicking while the Gadwicking's good before they have Dispute up. Grasp is also superb against potential Nissa. So if they have Nissa here, we can handle that. If they just have Jolrael, we can handle that. If they have Shatter the Sky, that's okay. Master of Time. Alright, that is totally fine. Slitherwisp is a nice pickup too. Okay, so we're going to start by just having Gadwick swing at Tef, see if the opponent's going to phase the Tef to save their Tef. And then if they do spend 3 loyalty on this, I just get to Noxious Grasp their Tef, which is great. And now Gadwick is safe from sweepers, which is also nice. There's some world where I want to resolve Slither Wisp there around potential counters. I think it's going to be hard for the opponent to hold up a bunch of mana the way things are going right now. Okay, so the question is, do I try like UG Jolrael in response to this? I think I can let my opponent have a 2/2 here with Gadwick around to do bouncing things. They only got one blue source at the moment, so if they counter Borrower, they're not countering Slither Wisp. What to go for here? Is it just Slither Wisp? Maybe it's Cutthroat, honestly? I think I just go with Borrower here. I really want to resolve Slither Wisp. This threatens to kill Tef, which is nice. Dispute's also pretty good. Okay. So now that I have this Dispute, things get easier. I get to swing with both creatures at Tef, Master of Time. If they want to block Gadwick, they've got to... Actually, this is bad against specifically a Shark, because that lets them get another token off Jolrael. I should have thought more about the timing of this. Alright, so before this happens, we have some stuff to do. Namely, bouncing Jolrael. Tapping the cat. You get to kill Tef. They get to kill Borrower, which is sad, but I get to resolve Slither Wisp and have Mystical Dispute up, so unless they have Shatter the Sky, we should be good. Maybe. I actually get to play Slither Wisp and stop the Shark from killing Borrower, which is nice. Alright, with Gadwick up, I probably should just attack their face there, since I knew that Borrower was getting through. That was a bad attack. Alright, well I can stop a Krasis, I can stop like an Uro. Shatter pretty much ends me, but you can't beat everything against these decks. Ah crap, it's Shatter. Well, do it to us, opponent, do it to us. Yeah, I feel like I could have played this game much, much better than I did. I could draw another Gadwick, so I'll wait and see if I do that. But it's very likely over. Yeah, I'm just going to scoop from here. Jolrael is too good with too many other cards. I don't think I have quite enough resources there to fight through. Possible that was early. Right, I did like the sideboard plan. I think Borrower seems like an important enough tool for managing Planeswalkers that I maybe want 3. Could go down to 1 Octopus. Could go down to 3 Sailors. Could go down to 3 Sailors. Still not bad for a mulligan. I think that game was winnable if I had played much better than I did play. Now this is a hand. This is... Need a source of card draw, and it's a little awkward that I can't class Slither Wisp yet. Slither Wisp mana cost in general is really awkward. But this is exactly what I want to see against the Tef deck. Would love to hit Spectral Sailor. Brineborn Cutthroat is interesting. I could just try to kill them with 2 Brineborn Cutthroats. That's actually appealing. Let's just do that. Let's just kill them with 2 Brineborn Cutthroats. If they shock in a Breeding Pool and hold up Mystical Dispute, I'm going to be really sad. But current plan is just to kill them with 2 Brineborn Cutthroats. These are the games where I really want to consider opt for the deck, but hard to fit. Opponent's really chewing the scene around whether they want to hold a Mystical Dispute here or are they just disconnected. Okay. Extremely easy Cutthroat for me here, I think. I guess they could have Glass Casket, but I just feel like I know they have a number of Mystical Disputes here. Yep, Jolrael's fine. Jolrael's one I can handle. Just cycles Typhoon. Okay, that's actually perfectly fine. I'm just going to land this other Cutthroat. They do get 1, 2, 2. But I get Cutthroat down safely, and I still have 3 counterspells in hand, which seems more important. There's another counterspell. All right. Good luck, opponent. I guess the problem is if they don't cast any spells, these Cutthroats aren't going to grow. So I do need them not to have, like, 2 more Shark Typhoon in hand. If they have 2 more Shark Typhoon in hand or something, I'm going to die. But if their plan here is to cast spells, and most of the cards in their deck are spells, then we should be good. Come on, play the spell. Well, as they're waiting to make their decision, I will close my window. Play a spell, play a spell, play a spell. No, they're not going to play a spell, chat. They're not going to play a spell. All right, we drew Sailor. We drew Sailor, it's fine, we drew Sailor. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. So Sailor lets me actually apply some pressure, even if they're not playing spells. Hopefully it can seal the deal with that one. If they have a lot of Mystical Disputes, maybe not. Also turns on Lofty Denial as a real counterspell, which is nice. Okay, another 2/2 for the opponent, but that's fine. That's another Shark Typhoon, and it's being used for 0 mana. That is okay. Jolrael, of course, getting to the point where she can just pump these to be gigantic, but that's a Brazen Borrower, so that plan's not going to work super well. I don't think I want to trade a Cutthroat for 2 cats. Right now, if the opponent like draws a card, plays a land, tries to make a bunch of 6/6s, I just bounce one of them. Then I can just double block Jolrael. The Fairy Time Raveler, what if we didn't? What if we just didn't do that instead? Okay, so counterspell choice is tricky. I think I'm pretty interested in Lofty Denial over Dispute here. Really need my opponent not to have double Dispute. 1 Dispute I can handle. Veto I can handle. Any of that stuff. Veto! Great. Okay, so that resolves. You know, just quench you. And now the 6/5 Cutthroat gets to start smashing, which is excellent. We've still got Rewind up for Shatter, so if they have Shatter plus Dispute, things are a little awkward. But I then draw a card and I have a Sailor to cast with a good amount of counter magic backing it up. If land there would have been ideal. Hydroid Krasis. Yeah, so if they do that, Krasis isn't really a good blocker. I could just let this resolve and go for like Borrower, cast Sailor, and make some giant Cutthroats. Now I'll Rewind while I have the chance. I think Rewind is an awkward card against Mystical Dispute. I like the idea of playing it when they don't have that up, plus I draw a card off it, which is great. Actually, are they dead? But they do get the Jolrael token. Right. So chump blocking is going to happen. Seems correct just to draw the card. Another Cutthroat, okay. Land is really good. Hey, Kawaii. Kevlar Man, is that a thing we ever did? Never heard that one before, but it's pretty good. Alright, so here's where Shatter If they shatter, I dispute. If they can counter my dispute, I at least get a Cutthroat down afterwards, and I still draw a card off their shatter while they don't draw a card off their shatter. They could also just go land shatter, at which point that's fine. Crisis again, okay. So now we're getting ourselves very much in range of killing them. Oh wait, wait, I can bounce Derail in response and they lose. Never mind, that's easy then. Except for, what I actually want to do is go Cutthroat. It's enough damage anyway, but now I just bounce Derail, they don't actually make a wolf, and the game is over. Yay, Brineborn Cutthroat. Hawaii 5-0. I've been trying some Esper Blink on the ladder, it's been feeling pretty bad, honestly. I feel like the Bant decks are just a little too much for it right now. For a while I was confident. I think it was Nissa coming back that really hurt. It's like Nissa is a permanent that the Esper deck is extremely good at dealing with one threat at a time, but Nissa, because she makes a 3/3 that kills your Narsets and your Tefts, is basically just 2 threats at a time. It's the classic Esper versus Blue-Green Ramp story. Ugin's also an issue. Ugin comes down late enough that you can generally discard it or respond with ECD after it comes down and have a big full hand. I found Nissa to be a bigger problem than Ugin, personally. Jolrael also awkward, because Jolrael forces you to kind of keep more removal in your deck post-board than you really want to. Not there isn't like a playable Esper deck out there somewhere, I just haven't been able to find it yet. That was great, so maybe one more match with the blue-black flash deck now that we're top 100. I should probably edit the stream description to say top 100 Mythic. Yeah, sorry, Dasher Octopus. You don't quite anchor this hand. This works, though. It's a good curve here. Sailor into Denial into Slitherwisp. We're up against... Alright, we're up against white-green counters. This is definitely a deck I have been interested in testing against. With them on the play, if they have like a Conclave Mentor next turn, that curve's probably just going to wreck my face. Yeah, Conclave Mentor is a nightmare here, so... I think we have a really good sideboard for this matchup, but this particular start on the play we don't really have good answers to. I could get to Lofty Denial something. And I guess I can like trade Slitherwisp with a Mentor maybe, but it's rough seas. Well, Watergrave seems like a good card to own in general. Snow Monkey. Ooh, Basri Solidarity. Alright, so that actually makes Brazen Borrower a thing I could just do here. Like if I just bounce the Conclave Mentor, the Pellet Collector becomes a 4/4. If I bounce the Pellet Collector, the Mentor becomes a 4/4. But the Collector comes down a bit smaller than the Mentor. I think I just bounce Mentor because it's more expensive. I feel like you're probably not supposed to play Basri Solidarity in this deck, but I don't really know, and I do recognize their opponent's name. I think they're a pretty good player. Vitruvius, there's probably a good green white counters deck out there. I mean, it's I don't know how it compares to mono green, and maybe the mana's a little too bad, but it feels like it should be strong. Once we bring in a bunch of Noxious Grasps and Blacklands Paragons, I feel less worried about it. Alright, so this turn's going to be Slitherwisp. We're still going to... I mean, we're going really low in life. I'm just hoping that Slitherwisp can give me enough cards to maybe keep up with what their opponent's doing. Very possible that's not what's going to happen. Ooh, a Johnny the Greathearted. That's actually fine. I'm really glad my opponent spent this turn casting a thing that adds like 1 power to the board, and then dies to Slitherwisp. Okay, that's also fine. I'm not trying to kill you here, opponent. Really not trying to kill you. Oh, right, the Pellet Collector is Vigilance. Well, that's annoying. So it goes, though. If I draw like Eliminate right now, I'll be in a good spot. Watery Grave. Alright, so lets me cast Borrower and Sailor. I think I can't really afford to. I think I just need to Lofty Denial whatever they play here, and then play Sailor. Keep Ajani's loyalty lower. Yeah, formation does seem quite a bit stronger. I know mana is precious, but Bosriket, yeah, no. No, none of that. Just need that eliminate. Just need that juicy eliminate. Or another borrower. Another borrower would also be good. I guess I could have cast Sailor and then double block the Pelt Collector, but that doesn't feel like the winning line. Given that every creature our opponent has is still going to kill us. Like, I think I need to go for the luck. Okay, have not really had much of that luck, but I guess I can triple block Pelt Collector. My plan is to do that, though. I can't even shock in this Watery Grave. Ooh, boy. Maybe the plan is just to play Borrower. Alright, so realistically, if they just minus a Johnny and hit me with Pelt Collector, I have to trade all 3 of my creatures for it. Am I really winning that game? I don't think I am. It's possible the actual play that's like the one that gives me the best chance of winning is to cast Borrower, hope I hit one of my 2 eliminates or my 3 other Borrowers off of that. Or a basic land, which will let me hold up Lofty Denial. I'm going to do that. I think this has the best chance of actually winning the game for me. Rewind does not work, fortunately. Water Grave, but I think we're dead. Post board, this gets much better. Mentor actually just means things a 6. Yeah, I can't win here. Still, had chances, considering the opponent had their best start on the play. That's promising. So I get Grass, so I get eliminated, I get Blacklance Paragon, I get Ether Gust. I get to cut Mystical Dispute. I get to cut... Shark Typhoon just seems bad, it just seems like it's not a big enough effect. Rewind strikes me as like vaguely okay. Basically, my plan in this matchup is just a 1-for-1 for that one-for-one them until I have Slither Wisp in play, and then I'm just not 1-for-1ing them anymore. Probably cutting a couple Borrowers, maybe just 1 Borrower, cut 2 Octopi, 2 Sailors. It's like a nice effect to have, but I don't need that many of them. Rewind is on the iffier side. It's nice for Sailor. We're cutting Sailors anyway. I think I just cut Rewinds. In which case I bring in probably 3rd Gust, 4th Borrower, something like that. Borrower actually attacking Basriket is nice. Let's try this. So there are ways this could go badly. Like if we have a bunch of Ether Gusts and our opponent has a bunch of Stonecoil Serpents and Basri's Lieutenants or something. But I like having just like infinite 1-for-1s against their deck. This works. Double Cutthroat also may just let me outsize them completely. Don't want Sailor right now, I really want a 3rd land. Or more removal. Ooh, no 1-drop for the opponent. Love to see that. Naked Huatley's Raptor, also a nice one. Slither Wisp. Alright, well, can't cast that yet, but that's fine. Basri Solidarity makes this a 3-4. That's fine. That was unimpressive, as plays go. I was hoping they wouldn't do anything too devastating so I had to resolve this other Cutthroat, and my wish was granted. Another Slither Wisp. Alright, well this is starting to get awkward. Would be very happy to stop drawing Slither Wisps soon. That does mean that a Swamp just lights my opponent up. Boy, the mana in this deck is so hard. Probably I want like 1 more Swamp than I have. Or 1 more Fabled Passage. Wildwood Scourge. That's a 1-1. think I'm open to that. Then just countering the other thing they play this turn. Yeah, let's just not do that. Some chance this is the right time to borrow, because if I just borrow the Scourge, but then they get to play it back bigger. I think a Denial here. Denial is like a 4 spike right now, so I might as well use it while it guaranteed does something. Definitely not blocking Watley's Raptor still. I think these Cutthroats are better. Land, another Cutthroat. Okay, it's not so bad. So Borrower or Eliminate should mean that nothing's gonna just destroy me that the opponent could do here. Johnny the Great-Hearted. Okay. So that's going to put counters on stuff. I can then just bounce one of the things in response to the activation. So yeah, Johnny resolves, that's fine. They're going to go for that. I'm going to bounce the Raptor here. That makes actually Scourge just tiny, unable to attack, unable to block, which is really, really good. And now I think I'm just on the offensive here. Really use a 4th land. Double spelling would be a lovely thing to pull off at some point. Knight of Autumn. Is that what? Get some counters? That's fine. Actually, if I just eliminate this, then the Watley's Raptor makes Wildwood Scourge a 3/3 at best. The other temptation is to cast Borrow just because it turns on Lofty Denial. I think I'm down to just kill the Knight. Not sure about that one. Still have 2 spells to cast next turn, even if one of them is Lofty Denial, and Lofty Denial is not great. As an aggressive attack opponent, that is ambitious. Alright, you coming down. I guess I'll wait and see what this is going to do first. Counters, life. Counters. Alright, let's just get rid of the Scourge in response. Primordial Cutthroat's really a heck of a Magic card. I'm glad I got a chance to play with that before it rotated out. They got a Primal Might. Looks like Primal Might might have been what they were thinking about. Huh. Well, they got a double chump unless they've got some special surprise waiting for me. Nope. Okay. Venerated Loxodon. Okay. Alright, that worked. That worked. So they brought in a bunch of Knight of Autumn, or they're just playing it in the main deck for some reason. Do I even like Sailor? Do I just want a 4th copy of Aethergust? Also consider cutting a Quench. Borrower seems nice for Planeswalker management still, but this could also be just a 4th Gust. Yeah, let's try it like this. Alright, this works. A lot of swamps, but I don't have much double blue in the deck at this point with Rewind gone. And I do love me some Black Lance Paragon. Also extremely down to trade Spectral Sailor for... Am I down to trade Spectral Sailor for Pelt Collector? Problem is, with only one blue source, I don't guarantee get to cast Sailor for a while if I don't hit another one. So I think it's worth taking the 2 damage here. This also means if they don't have like a reasonable 2-drop, like if they have Vastwood Hydra or whatever it's called, then I get to actually block the Pelt Collector. Stone Coil, okay, sure. Yeah, Sailor looking a little silly here, but I'm not sure what else I'd have here. I guess Shark. Eliminate's nice. So yep, plan is ready. We're just gonna try and 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 them. Till Sailor gets going. Watley's Raptor proliferating a little bit over there, that's fine. Want to get this Pelt Collector off the board before it gets Trample, ideally. It's good to keep in mind if you have a bunch of interchangeable answers that in theory the cards like Black Lance Paragon might be a little bit more valuable later because they work with Slitherwisp. But in this case I don't think that's a big deal. So I can't double spell this turn anyway, so I'm just going to put the Grave out tapped. Not blocking with Sailor, so I will get the attack in with it. The opponent has like a Johnny or Basri Cat, I just get to kill one of their creatures, and the Planeswalker isn't that impressive. Wildwood Scourge is just a random 2/2, so that's fine. So that can come down, and then I think I'm just going to kill the Serpent with the Eliminate here. Keep my life total nice and high. It's going to be tough. They've still got a good number of cards in hand, and a little bit of early flood kind of goes a long way. Pelt Collector is absolutely fine. Pelt Collector doesn't really bother me. Okay, if that's all I got, and this is a golden time to actually draw a card with Sailor. Love taking that opportunity. Cool. Alright, so come on, Sailor, do your best. There's pretty much a non-card here. Raise the Alarm. What? Okay. Well, I like Noxious Grasp there. And I almost see myself trading Sailor for a 1. I'm not going to attack just in case. Minosaur. Yeah, Mutate Bounce Shark just doesn't seem that promising. Mostly there's not a lot of stuff to actually... doesn't do that much. Alright, so Basri Ket I'm gonna allow. Kind of hoping to go for the minus ability, and I just get to wipe out several of their creatures in response, which makes the minus pretty bad and lets Sailor kill Basri. Alright, they're going to point at Pelt Collector here, so I think I just Gust the Collector. I don't want to bounce it because they can just recast it. Yeah, I'll Gust the Collector. Planning maybe to grasp Basri if I can. And do I bounce Scourge? I think I just bounce a token. Then do I block another token? Next turn I grasp Basri. I think I'm not gonna block here. Draw at least one more card off Sailor. Paragon is really good. Love Paragon here. So now I don't even know that I actually grasp Basri. I might just want to... if I hit Basri and then grasp whatever Basri targets, I can then cast Borrower and kill Basri afterwards. So I think this works. I think this works. We'll see what the opponent's last couple spells are. But there are a lot of ways. All right, that's one of the many ways this turn could have turned out badly for them. So in response to that, I'm just going to grasp the Scourge. Opponent gets to attack me and make one soldier. And then I play, I don't actually need to play Borrower here, so I can actually just draw a card off Sailor, or I could Paragon the Raptor, but I think drawing the card's valuable here. Yeah, so Bosri Solidarity is a sorcery, so that's not going to get me. Need to be drawing cards off Sailor every chance I get. Last Casket for Sailor. That's a little awkward because I can't kill Bosri now. So do I need to play Borrower to make sure I can kill Bosri? I think I still draw the card. But that one's tough. That one's tough. Really use a Slither-Wisp. Paragon should stop me from dying. Quench. Could be worse, could be worse. So I'll play this because that gives me Borrower plus Paragon plus Quench here, which lets me kill Bosri. But Gadwick would also be great, speaking of things that are good. Alright, need to remember this token gets indestructible. It'd be really awkward if they just attack with the token, because I'd be forced to throw a Paragon to block it, but fortunately they didn't do that. So we'll go Paragon, eat the Raptor. And then we just need to find a way to interact with their board on the next draw. But yeah, the late game Quench hurts. Need any form of interaction here. Temple of Deceit. Alright, so flooded and died, that's too bad. So I think we did pretty well for having 9 lands against 5 lands there on the draw. I think that matchup is probably pretty darn good post-board. We're thinking about whether there's more stuff I can bring in to replace like the Quenches, but sometimes your draws just don't line up very well. Borrower was still good there. I just found myself queuing with this deck without even thinking. I'm just enjoying it so much. Yep, that'll happen. Every deck loses sometimes to just flood. But it's nice that, like, I think the deck does have a very plausible matchup against the green white counters deck and the mono green deck, because Blacklands Paragon's a hell of a magic card. Ooh, this is a nice looking hand. Looks like mana's gonna be precious here, so I'm just gonna bring out Sailor early. I need to change my stream title now, though, which is a real bummer. Okay, if this is Wilderness Reclamation, that's a matchup that in theory should be pretty good. We once again see Slither-Wisp without the mana to cast Slither-Wisp. I should probably make some adjustments here. I actually should have resolved Cutthroat. Once I saw Ketria Tribe, I absolutely should have resolved Cutthroat. I'm not used to playing with this deck yet. Now if I play Cutthroat and just gets Mystical Dispute, I feel like an idiot. And yet I'm kind of priced into doing it, and just hoping they don't have the dispute. Yeah, I should have just resolved that. Come on, resolve. Oh, that's Justice. That's Justice, chat. That might cost me the game. Another Sailor. Oh, I need a swamp. Give me a swamp. Well, the Sailor at least cantrips once I can get Slither-Wisp out, so it's alright. There we go. Perfect. So not attacking into sharks here. Actually, Nah, not attacking the sharks here. It's not worth it. Okay, there's the shark. Do I allow that? I'm going to let it happen. Think I don't Slither Wisp just yet. This is their Reclamation turn. You know what? No, I'm Slither Wisping. They have Scorching Dragonfire, at least get to cycle the Spectral Sailor off of this. And stuff. Like, you're never going to get like an incredibly safe Slither Wisp against this deck, I think. Nightpack Ambusher. Well, that's fine. Is it fine? It's like half fine, half not fine. So is this like Temur Flash? I guess it's just Reclamation with main deck Ambushers. Another Island's really bad. I do have the cards off Sailor, so that's good. Really need a Brazen Borrower. Nightpack Ambusher is a pretty common card in this meta. Maybe the Eliminates are not what I'm supposed to be doing. I should be doing Heartless Act instead. I have enough ways to counter Tef, and like eliminating a Tef is not even that good anyway. The Minosaur, I just cast Slither Wisp when they didn't have counter magic open. That was about what the plan was. Brazen Borrower, hey, love that card. Love that card. Cycles Triome, that's absolutely fine. Borrower with multiple counter spells, backing it up. Makes me feel pretty secure against Ambusher. Then we've got Rewind plus Sailor. Might as well bounce the Ambusher now because I take one less damage off the wolf that way. Evening, Grizzled Games. Need them not to have another dispute. Another dispute would be sad. Okay, so unfortunately can't afford to spend mana here since I really need Ambusher not to come down, but I've got an arm full of counterspells. Problem is, Shark means I can basically never afford to attack with Slither Wisp. We're really just going to try and make this a control battle. Ambusher comes down. I'm going to rewind that. Expansion, rewind, quench. Yeah, quench expansion, then hope they don't have reclamation plus expansion explosion. Oh wait, no, I get to untap all my lands, so I don't even need to worry about that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So Lofty Nile plus Brazen Borrower up is really good. Game's far from over, of course. Uro is still obnoxious. They've got 6 cards in the graveyard already, so I might as well let this resolve and try to counter him on the way back. Yeah. Definitely frustrating playing 1-for-1 decks in this format, even if they're good 1-for-1 decks, which I think this is. I should go for a third Gadwick. Third Gadwick could be kind of nice in this kind of spot. Okay, love to see them go for Uro there. That's really nice. So I'll borrow first in case I draw some counter I want more than Lofty Nile. Like if I draw my other Quench, I would want to Quench. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Another Slither Wisp is really, really good. Okay. I'm gonna start smacking my opponent with Sailors, I think. If you want to block one of these with a Shark, then I have Borrower to attack too. Possible I should have been a little more aggressive early. Watch your back. I mean, I am playing Octopus. You can see the deck hopefully through Cardboard Live. So I am playing Sea Dasher Octopus. Wilderness Reclamation. Do we allow this? Do I allow this? No. No seems like the obvious answer. Let's just say no. Plays around Mystical Dispute. It does not play around Negate, but that's fine. Can't Shark me anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what you mean by more mid-range. Ashiok's Erasure just seems like a bad counterspell because it costs 4 mana and is vulnerable to Mystical Dispute. I think the benefit of sometimes not letting your opponent cast more spells is pretty heavily outweighed by the detriment of train of thought. Basically, if your opponent is if you have an enchantment, your opponent can interact with it in a bunch of ways and get their spell back, which I don't like. I'd rather my counter spells not be bounceable by an opposing Tef or something like that. Hey there, Tammy. So that's a dispute that's going to help them cast Uro. I'm still paying for that. I'm still paying for that. Does mean I basically lose a card off Sailor. So if my opponent has like Storm's Wrath right now, I'm in trouble. Or like an Explosion for 4 would be bad, but not unbeatable. Or I guess a Fabled Passage into Uro would be tough too. Then I have Sailor to find like Cutthroats and Borrowers and other Solidifies and such. Are they out of stuff? Oh, they're just out of stuff. Even if this is a Shark, me untapping with this board is pretty good. I don't think my opponent understood how Slitherwisp worked there. But I'll take the... Yeah, that's not what they meant to do there. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Beat Reclamation. Sideboard against this deck. I mean, in theory, we're kind of main-boarded against them. What do I cut? Eliminate seems okay against Sharks, I guess. Obviously for Dispute. Is he dropping to 3 Sailors? I kind of like Sea Dasher Octopus. Kind of like Sea Dasher Octopus. Rewind is very awkward against Expansion. It's really good to have a couple hard counters late. I could just cut some Typhoons. And just go a little lower to the ground, since I assume my opponent's Sharks are pretty much going to be bigger every time anyway. Lonskin Cage isn't really here for just random decks playing Uro. It's more for cat decks, where you're shutting off their whole engine. Ooh, sorry to hear it, Tammy. Typhoon's Borrower still seems pretty good against Sharks and stopping Reclamation and so on. I kind of like Sea Dasher. They're going to bring in Scorching Dragonfires, but Sea Dasher is like just one more thing they have to Dragonfire. Let me try cutting the Typhoons and seeing how that feels. They're just not that counter heavy. Yeah. And is vulnerable to certain types of draws, like an early Flame Sweep could be really bad, but Double Cutthroat is really strong. Cerisium! Goodness gracious! Emotes and subs for everybody, thank you so much! I'll take a Sailor, I'll take a Sailor. Sailor goes great with the Cutthroat aggro draw. Love it when the opponent chips for some damage. Doesn't even have the Spiral, that's great. If they play Uro, we get to Cutthroat in response. Do I just Cutthroat now? I absolutely just Cutthroat now. Whatever, if you have a dispute, you're going to get to counter something, so show it to me. Scorching Dragonfire, you get to kill something, but again, show it to me. Stomp. Alright. Not my favorite, but it's fine. Now to Slam Cutthroat. Yeah, well, one of my... You may already know this, Minisar, but one of my followers created that song, Bottle Brush. Alright, I'm getting Cutthroat now, before it gets countered. If they have another removal spell for this, I get to go Sailor in response, and then I have like a Sailor game going, which is cool. They could just resolve Reclamation now. That would be fine if they did. Okay. Bone Crusher trades with Cutthroat. I mean, it's a strong play for sure. Let's see if this gets disputed. This gets disputed, I'm a little sad. Yeah, hard to work around that. Like, I could have waited to untap and then hardcast it. Ooh. Ooh, I do like that, though. Okay. So down for Borrower. If this one gets countered, I can go Sailor. I'd rather have Sailor out than Borrower, I think. Get a Shark out of my way with Eliminate. Flame Sweep hurts. Flame Sweep hurts. Alright, so they brought in Bone Crusher Giant and Flame Sweep. That's really good to know. Probably dead now, but actually, I should just be attacking and killing this Giant now, I think. I think this is my best chance to actually win the game now that I'm... I should have done this prior to checking. I should have done this before to see if they had a negate or not. Now I'm in trouble. I could just draw Gadwick, though. Yes, that was a huge punt. I should have obviously cast that before attacking. But now we're both low on cards. Their deck has Uro and mine doesn't, but at least through a threat in the form of Brazen Borrower. If they go Reclamation or go for a Shark, I can get rid of some of their stuff. Chemistry's in sight. Yuck. Oh boy. Watch your back. I wouldn't say consistency so much as I would say, like, I don't know, it's just a different kind of deck. You get to play Slitherwisp rather than... I haven't really been playing any Simic Flash. What I really see as the benefit of this deck is that it's not something anybody else is playing. I mean, I'm a big Magic hipster. I like playing decks that no one else is playing. All right, that's too many lands. I think I'm just going to scoop this one up now. They've got a Chemistry's Insight. Reclamation's going to resolve. I think the odds of me winning that one are really, really astronomically low. Flame Sweep. Okay. Interesting. Okay, seeing Stomp and Flame Sweep makes me less excited about Sea Dash or Octopus. More excited about Shark Typhoon. Ether Gust actually seems kind of alright, maybe. But over what is always the question. Rewind? Yeah, I think if we're going for the aggro draws, I actually kind of want the Gusts here. Yeah, I think Slitherwisp as an engine, I like that the blue-black Flash deck is better at drawing cards than the blue-green ones. I guess the blue-green ones have Uros, that's not necessarily true. Oh boy. Great if I can rattle off some lands, but I can't count on that, unfortunately. So we got a mull. This is fine. Also mulls, I'll take it. I'm going to dump probably just Borrower, honestly. Probably just Borrower. I like the idea of Sailor plus infinite counterspells, maybe getting to the point where I can actually outdraw my opponent. Dead Wizard, I mean, so my options there were basically, assuming they had nothing, which is the assumption I think I had to make there if I was going to ever win the game. Assuming they had nothing, my options were to attack, like kill the Bone Crusher Giant, attack then for 5, or wait a turn, try to kill the Giant, make a 6 power creature, and then attack. Obviously, it's much better if they have exactly negate to do what you saw me do there. But I think just the advantage of just getting in 5 damage is really substantial and not to be underestimated. Alright, Cutthroat's a really good draw, obviously. Means I get to go Cutthroat in response to this Growth Spiral. I'll also just dispute the Spiral. Yeah, why don't I just dispute the Spiral here? The question is, do I go Cutthroat as well? Don't know. Hopefully they tap out for Uro here and I can get down Cutthroat safely. That's fine. Really don't want to run this into a Stomp yet. Slitherwisp is really good, really, really good. Okay. Cycling Shark Typhoon for 0. You always like to see that. Still waiting, I think. Possible I'm playing much too timidly here. Another Slither-Wisp. Alright, so if my opponent goes for nothing this next turn, I think I just am kind of priced into just casting lots of Slither-Wisps. Do need some lands. Do need some lands. Alright, I'm Slither-Wisping. They can have Flame Sweep, they can have Bone Crusher Giant, they can have Mystical Dispute. I just need to start casting spells or I'm never going to get out of this alive. Feels like Stomp, though. Yeah, Reclamation is one hell of a Magic deck.
We need to become Aaron.
Thanks for the follow, Ted Wizard.
That's the goal.
Like, what am I really supposed to be doing here? I don't know. Drawing lands, really. I'm supposed to be drawing lands and protecting my Slither-Wisp with actual counter spells. That's nice. Now I get Cutthroat and can start pumping Cutthroat a little bit. Possibly. Wilderness Reclamation. Alright, in response... Okay, in response, going to try for Cutthroat Quench. If they have Dispute for Cutthroat, I get to counter the Reclamation. If they have Dispute for Quench, I at least have a big Cutthroat, and they're not casting Bone Crusher Giant this turn. Like a big Shark, in addition to Dispute here, would kind of crush me, but I think we're a little behind the 8-ball, need to actually do something. Okay, land... Nope, El Kamisato, I think Ashiok's Erasure is just bad. It might be specifically okay against Wilderness Reclamation, but do you really want to be playing a 4-mana counterspell that gets hit by Mystical Dispute? I don't know that that's what you want to be doing. But yeah, I feel kind of helpless here. Partly it's just because I don't know the matchup very well at all. I think things might feel better if I actually knew anything about this matchup. Alright, so opponent going to second main. I am going to drop... I think it's just Sailor. Pump Cutthroat, see if they have anything they want to try and cast, countered if they do. If they don't, I can draw a card off Sailor. Obviously, it sucks to play this before I play Slither-Wisp. Chemist's Insight. Do I counter this or I just draw a card off my Sailor? I think I just draw a card off my Sailor here. I could also try to resolve Slither-Wisp now. I'll just draw a card off Sailor here. But I think we're really quite poor into Resolve Wilderness Reclamation, even with Sailor out. Yeah, they just get to bring in so much interaction. Second Sailor, not so helpful. But I do have Slither-Wisp plus Lofty Dial up now. Do I just try casting Slither-Wisp? They've got Dispute up, as always. I think I wait till the end of their turn and see what they're going to do with all their Reclamation mana. Boy, Chemisters would say this main deck for them usually, or is just come in. It is funny to see this old Guilds card actually getting some play. Okay. Commence the endgame. Okay, that's fine. Try Slither-Wisp in response to that. I unfortunately can't beat a Mystical Dispute. Goodness gracious. Oh, I don't even really want to play anymore, but I'm going to keep playing. If they have like Flame Sweep now, I will scoop though. This is just awful. Another Dispute. Perfect. Alright, so opponent had 3 Dispute in their top 16, and we're never going to win a game like that, so I'm out. Opponent says good game. Even before I concede, of course. I mean, Weed and Magic is just, you play both of them. Why not? Bone Crusher was actually great there. Gave him a clock, something to block Brineborn Cutthroat, and it killed something. Bone Crusher Giant's just an absurd Magic card. All right, well, that was fun. We got some blue-black flash, and I think I'm going to move to something else here. A little bit of blue-green Jolrael. I'll show off the deck a bit before I run it through the queue.
We
So I think
need to
blue-black flash is
become
fine. I think
Aaron
the
Gretler
Reclamation
tonight,
matchup's
Jed.
probably
That's the goal.
fine. I think you need to be good at playing it, and I'm definitely not good at playing it yet. I think it's doable. Blue-green Jolrael, so just trying to maximize the power of Jolrael Monvolley Recluse. Obviously, this card just sees play in all the various blue-green X ramp decks besides Reclamation. But this deck's really trying to do something else with her. We're kind of using her as a primary win condition rather than just like an annoying little 2-mana card that the opponent has to respond to. Why would you play this instead of playing like a Bant or a Sultai, other than the pure hipster novelty of it all? My thinking on that is that you get to be a really good Llanowar Visionary deck. I think this card is quite powerful and hasn't seen play in the other big ramp decks yet, but I think it's just a mana source that draws a card. It's sort of like Growth Spiral-esque. You get to play essentially more Growth Spirals. I also think it's a very good Frantic Inventory deck. I think Jolrael gives you enough early board presence that you can afford to be playing a bunch of this card, and late game, this is how you can kind of take over against the other blue-green X decks with a bunch of card advantage. Trying a couple of Sublime Epiphany here over a 4th Shark Typhoon that I used to be playing in the deck. Been pretty good so far. I've been playing only against aggro decks. I've run only aggro decks when I've been laddering with UG Jolrael. It might be really bad against Dispute Fairy decks, but we'll see. Warrior Magic, thanks for the follow. I'm actually kind of down for this hand. It's close, but it just ramps really hard. We have a bunch of rewards for ramping really hard. Cast like Sublime Epiphany on turn 4 or a Giant Krasis. We've got the Catcher Your Triumph with some extra cycling. I think the hand's close, but on the play, I'm down to keep it. Yep, Swek Dog, I think Reclamation would be a really obvious ban that they should make. It's just much too good in 8-set standard once there are a bunch of instant speed cards you can use with it. And of course, as always, ooh, Sublime Epiphany, perfect, perfect. As always, Bannero. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be cycling this anymore, and it seems really valuable to have double blue open. Dukester, I think we were 3-2 with Blue-Black Flash. It was good, we won some exciting matches, and narrowly lost to green-white counters. We flooded out a game that was looking really winnable in Game 3, and then got kind of creamed by Reclamation. We did win one of the 3 games, so it was a tight one, but it's really, really hard post-board against Reclamation. I think I need to reassess my post-board approach to that matchup. And stop playing things that get Mystical Disputed. Okay, so Uro gets Disputed. I'd much rather just have Visionary. Visionary also means I don't need to draw 6 land to have Epiphany up for next turn. Also means they can't just bounce this thing unless they want me to get another card off it. Yeah, there's a question of do I want to cast Opt now versus maybe waiting for Jolrael. I think I'll cast it now. No Jolrael in sight. Lana version are also great with Sublime Epiphany, of course. It gives you something to copy, which is nice. Don't Growth Spiral. Yeah, this is kind of free. I think I'll just take it and just put another card in the graveyard for Uro. Problem is here, if I don't attack with Visionary, it's going to be incredibly obvious that I'm holding up Sublime Epiphany. So the actual plan here is to attack with it, and then do Epiphany things later. I mean, it's obvious I'm holding up Sublime Epiphany, but it's obvious I'm holding up something. So I will go for Uro here. They Mystical Disputed, that's fine. Much better to get Uro Mystical Disputed than Sublime Epiphany. If they don't, I get to potentially cast Bar, which lets me take out a Teferi, and we drew a Jolrael, which is great. The dream is to get Uro out protected by Sublime Epiphany at some point from an ECD. See how well that works out for me. Brazen Bar is also a really good answer, like a Teferi Master of Time here. Enjoy the pizza, Tammy. All right, so Spiral or Bar? Bar actually lets me get some real offense going, which is nice. Does kind of get punked by a shark, though. I'll Spiral. Do another opt. I'm going to save that opt because that's really good with Jolrael suddenly. Okay, so Jolrael into Visionary means they could Shatter, but if they Shatter, I just get Uro out. Could also just opt, hold up Borrower. I'll go Visionary here. If they do have the Shatter, then I can also opt to just look for like a Krasis or a big Shark Typhoon, something like that. This also might be a tempting dispute target, at which point I just get to opt and make the cat anyway. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm just going to opt. It's nice to see that Jolrael is safe from a Wrath effect now. First Frantic Inventory. It's the beginning of the end. I will acknowledge that me having the Growth Spiral and my opponent not having the Growth Spiral is probably the biggest factor in why this game is going the way it's going. Alright, so now I get to go like Jolrael into Uro, but I could also just Jolrael into double Frantic Inventory. If I Jolrael into Uro and they just have ECD, I'm not really doing much. I kind of like doing this instead. Would love to have hit a land drop. Growth Spiral's fine though. I'm just going to pass. Also, the chance my opponent just goes Nissa, tries to hit me with a land, and then Frantic Inventory makes a surprise cat. Ooh, my wife is bringing me pizza, chat. My wife is bringing me pizza. Very excited about this. Oof. The Zagoth Triome Cycle Plan. Not a particularly inspiring plan, as plans go. Ooh, no dispute. No dispute. And Jolrael is straight up lethal unless they have some way to interact at instant speed like a shark. So if I want to here, I can activate Jolrael and attack for 21 damage, which actually beats them through a shark, so I think this just has to be the play, right? Like, there's no way they beat this. Sorry, Ted. All right, so obviously we're pretty far ahead in this game anyway, but it is pretty nice when your 2-drop just has an ability that ends the game on the spot in a lot of case scenarios. Yep, Javile, love this card when I saw in the preview, and it is lived up to my expectations. Okay, so blue-green X deck mirror thing. Cards that don't seem as good. Sublime Epiphany sort of falls apart against Mystical Dispute, and is quite bad when there's a Tef out on the field and just has many problems. So I don't want that as much. Pretty interested in just packing a couple of Negate. Not sure about Dispute here. I like that Negate just counters Shatter, no muss, no fuss. Stops Tef, just like Dispute does. Stops Nissa cheaply. And I like winning the Uro Wars. The question is always like, should I bring out my Uros? Do I expect my opponent to bring in Scavenging Ooze? If they do bring in Scavenging Ooze, how bad is it if they bring in Scavenging Ooze? Do I still want my Uros? Are they going to bring in Narset? That kind of thing. I think I'm down for like 2 Ooze over 2 Opt, but it's possible that's not even right. Basically, I want to find 1 Ooze each game to clean up their Uros, but a second Ooze is pretty bad. I think I'm down for this. Gust is really more of an anti-aggro / anti-reclamation card. I think if I'm up against another like a Bant or Sultai ramp deck, I mostly just want to keep up with their stuff. But this is me playing a rogue deck, and I really don't know what the ideal sideboard strategy is yet. Something I have liked a lot in the sideboard of this is Elder Gargaroth. I was having a lot of trouble earlier with decks like Cycling, where my kind of limited interaction wasn't doing it, and I think Elder Gargaroth just serving as Uro's 4 and 5 is a pretty promising card for the anti-aggro slot. Juvile, I brewed this deck on literally the first day of M21 preview streaming. So, very much something that I wanted to do after seeing Jolrael, but I'm not surprised that she inspired lots of people to build similar decks. She kind of points in a pretty clear direction. Definitely keeping this hand. Anything with turn 2 Jolrael is generally pretty promising. Depending on what the opponent does, I may go for Growth Spiral instead of Jolrael on turn 2. If they have their own Jolrael, then and a Tef to back it up, I'm going to be in trouble. They don't seem to have their own Jolrael. Alright, so I kind of like Spiral here. I think if I Jolrael and they have Tef, it's just like, what am I even doing with my life? I think what I'd prefer to do is see what they're going to do on their turn. Basically, I can Spiral into Opt to nearly guarantee that I hit a 4th land. And then the turn after that, I can go Jolrael into Frantic Inventory. There's their Spiral. Just going to Opt now, make sure I hit that 4th land. Hopefully. There we go. They can drop an unmolested 4-drop, so something like a Tef Master of Time. If they can back it up with a Shatter, would be pretty annoying. But 4, they don't have a lot of really dangerous plays. Yeah, Tamyoger would absolutely clown me. Fortunately, it's just an Uro, and that one I can handle. Shocking that in. Okay. For Ooze. Alright, so everybody's got Oozes. Nobody gets any Uros, which is frankly how Magic the Gathering should be. I will say Ooze it makes Frantic Inventory a little awkward, but at least we're pressuring them to actually use the thing to, like, you know, we're pressuring them to spend mana to eat instants and stuff, which I don't really mind. Okay, Jolrael into what? Krasis Tef, what's up? I'm not really willing to eat their own Uro here. I think I'm pretty down to block the Ooze if it means they eat their own Uro. Yeah, that struck me as a weird attack. Okay. Another inventory. Okay, so then the plan is Llanowar Visionary, get some more green mana going so I can actually eat this Uro when it counts. If they counter this, I might be able to get down... Okay, they went for Gust. That's fine. I will just top it. Yeah, fine topping that. And now, if they go to eat Frantic Inventory end of turn, I get to cast the other one in response, which is really nice. Like, I'm really hoping they go for eat their own Uro here, which means I get to get my Frantic Inventory down. Do it, 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 do it. Alas. Well, now there's the awkward question of do I hold inventory or not? I think I do. I think just like it still punishes them for tapping on a green, and I still think they're going to just try and eat my inventory now. Okay, great. So now I just get to do this. And I still get a little bit of card advantage. Tasty. And they're still quite a ways from casting Uro. Also, Jolrael just shaping up to still be a huge threat to their life total. I get to just make 3 5/5s next turn if I want to. And maybe I just do want to. I guess if I make 3 5/5s, they can like double chump and then get Uro back. So I might want to wait and do Ooze stuff first. Let's go with Ooze. See if this one gets gusted too. They legit ate their own Uro in response. You love to see it. Maybe I could have attacked with cats first. Alright, so now I'm just going to run out Visionary. Obviously the opponent could Shatter here, but then I have 2 Shark Typhoon, which is a lot of Shark Typhoons. And Visionary just gives me another creature, which makes Jolrael intensely lethal next turn. Actually, no, opponent lives at 1. Almost intensely lethal. Oh no, super lethal. I have even more creatures than I realized. Nissa is really, really small ball compared to what my opponent needs to be doing here. Doesn't really work. Alright, so Jolrael is overrun, so I get to take my opponent to exactly 1 life if I activate Jolrael, but it's pretty hard to imagine them getting out of that from here. I guess they could have Shatter into Nissa stuff. Then I've still got some giant sharks, which can eat Nissa lands. The basic question is, do I send some stuff at Nissa or not? And I think if I want to kill Nissa, I need to send basically everything at Nissa, which is pretty disappointing. It might just be worth killing Nissa, though. It's only Jolrael's going to be less deadly next turn. So if I just send like 3 cats and Scavenging Ooze at Nissa, and then Llanowar Visionary 2. Okay, I think I'm not going to quite go for a all-out attack here. No, I'm actually changing my mind even as I say that. Let's just go face. I feel like if they have Shatter, we would have seen Shatter by now. And the fact that they lose a forest here really limits their ability to like Krasis into big stuff. Boop. Okay, good luck, opponent. Good luck. Nope, no shatter. Cool. All right, that was blue-green Jolrael. Rolled right over them. Back to almost exactly the rank I was at when we started the stream. Perhaps exactly the same rank. I'm not sure. All right, I'm down for another match with this one. And then we'll probably finish with at least one match of Temur Clover, because I know what y'all really want deep down in your hearts. Next Sharpened Ball. Flash was great. Went only 3-2, but it felt like it should have been a 4-1. Got pretty unlucky and flooded out in game 3 of the match that I thought we were advantaged in. But it's a really fun deck to play, and the first match of the stream was epic. I definitely recommend watching that replay if you get the chance. Oh, Copper Dream. That was a weird month and a half? How long even was that? There was actually, I had plans. I had all these big plans before the Companion ban came down that I was going to have a charity stream, and the joke was that I was going to play 100% off-color Companion decks. I built Black-Green Luris, I built Mono-White Obosh, Mono-Black Yorion, all these just like absolutely atrocious Companion decks, and the goal was just to like get people to donate, and the more donations we got, a certain number of donations would kind of unlock each successive awful deck. And then the Companion ban happened, so now I need to find some other gimmick if I want to do a charity stream. Yep, Goat. We had a housemate move out, so now I'm streaming from a new location. Ooh. Ooh. Mono white with Loyal Pegasus. I feel like the turn 1 Loyal Pegasus is absolutely commitment to something. So this will be interesting. We are going to be up against it pretty fast. This deck is not incredibly well suited to fighting aggro. If we had an untapped land for the next turn, I would be possibly just borrowing the Hallowblade here to turn off Loyal Pegasus for a turn. Juvile. If by tempo deck you mean like playing more flash cards, I think it's absolutely possible that you could make Jolrael work as like a Night Pack Ambusher type deck. Where you're just kind of like trading the Llanowar Visionaries and such from my deck with more flash cards. I think that could work pretty well. I haven't tried it yet. I wouldn't be surprised if someone found success with that approach. I mean, of course I play Uro. I want to win games of Magic, Goat. Fundamentally, I'm here to win games of Magic. Okay, well, let's just all in here. This is just the question. Do you have the Venerated Loxodon? Do you have the Venerated Loxodon? Okay. Pretty glad they didn't have the Venerated Loxodon there. This is still going to be challenging. These are really the matchups where having a turn 2 Jolrael makes a huge difference. And... Alright, well... I guess I could just play a 2-2 Krasis. Seems slightly better to jam Uro because with the Fabled Passage and all the ops, there's a legit chance I just get it out next turn. I would rather my Krasis be bigger anyway. But yeah, the opponent has built their deck to absolutely beat the snot out of decks like mine that are choosing to play blue and green and not play Wraths. So they very much deserve the win if they get it here. And Tammy, you can come back, right? They're going to ban this card, and then you can come back. Okay, opponent, get used to Self the Savior. That card has a trigger. Oh, yeah. All right, so we get to bounce the Hallowblade. We get to bounce Hallowblade. Fabled Passage is going to put a third card in the graveyard. We can then go, like, Braces into Uro on the next turn, something like that. Yeah, the Minosaur, I still think the mana in this deck is a little iffy without even as just 2 colors, but Blast Zone is a card one could consider. It would definitely be strong exactly here, but this is also the first time I've seen Mono White, at least since M21 came out. It may be the first time I've seen this deck since Theros came out. All right, Glorious Anthem. All right, well now I know what we're bouncing. I definitely know what we're bouncing now. I really don't understand people who play decks that cannot beat a single Shadow the Sky. And yet here we are. They're certainly beating up on all the greedy Aether Gust players, such as myself, though. Anthem means I'm only taking 8 here. But it's going to be hard to survive. Not going to be easy to survive. Even if I hit the untapped land, Uro isn't coming out. Giant Killer can stop Hydroid Crisis from accomplishing much of anything. Hit like a Fabled Passage. I can get Uro out this turn, and then maybe we're talking. Third opt. It's too many opts. Too many opts. I guess if I opt into Fabled Passage, I still get Uro out, so let's try doing that. Oh, hey. Oh, hello. How's it going? Still going to be hard. I don't think we're ahead, but this kind of forces them to, if they don't get a land next turn, choose between tapping Uro and casting Glorious Anthem, which is very good. Second called shot of the stream. That's what we're all about here. All right, what do I want off this opt? Jolrael would be ideal. I don't think I can really afford Breeding Pool. I don't think I can afford to be shocking in. That land is a bit better. Yeah, the fact this deck plays a bunch of opt also makes it like better at churning out really fast Uros than other blue-green decks. That's worth noting at least. Yeah, I will say nobody plays Cry the Canarium anymore. This deck does fold pretty hard to Extinction Event. Okay, another Uro is not the worst. Really need Jolrael sometime, though. Okay, don't have a land. If they have land, then Anthem plus Giant Killer literally kills me. But now I'm surviving. Seasoned Hallowblade can't get indestructible anymore. Okay, they're just coming in with everything, sure. Easy block Hallowblade. I think you're supposed to just hit me and let the Hallowblade die, rather than keeping it alive but losing 2 more damage on me here, but I'm not sure. Yep, Dukester, that's the idea. Alright, so I've got a Borrower. I've got Uro attacking for a good amount here. We do need to attack with it. It's not doing any good by sitting here and blocking. The question is, do I like... Now, I can't really opt to try and hit Jolrael because then I can't get the cat off Jolrael anyway. So we're just going to start with the attack. There's Jolrael. Okay, so... Somewhat interesting to know we can cast her and get a cat off of her. The problem is, without gaining more life, I am just dead to the flyers anyway. This actually has to be like probably like a 3/3 Krasis into Borrower here, and then play Jolrael later. That seems approximately correct. If I play this and hit a land, I can do Borrower things and I gain extra point of life. If I play this for 4, I go to 7. But if I can't play Borrower, I'm just dead to Giant Killer tapping down the Krasis. So that doesn't work. So I need to play this for... I guess I can also play it for 2. And then if I had a land, I can go Uro. Not really a huge difference between playing this for 3 and for 2. I guess it's I can block Fairy Guide Mother and kill it. All that stuff attacks. Let's see. So I play this, gain 1, just doing math here. It's a 3/3 they attack with everything. Let's say in theory, I play Borrow, I block those things, and I'm still actually dead to the other 3 2-power creatures. Maybe I do this to be a 4, go to 7 and hope to hit the land, or just play Jolrael as a chump blocker, then I'm dead to flyers. 2/2 Krasis, alright, so 2/2 Krasis actually seems like where it's at. Having put some thought into it, 2/2 Krasis. Come in. Hello, Tammy. Alright, so cool. Now I get to go Jolrael. And if I want to, I can use Opt plus Frantic Inventory to make a cat where I can cast Borrower. Or I could play Uro now. Uro puts me to 9. The problem is then Jolrael's just a chump blocker. So I think I prefer to get another body on the board rather than chumping with Jolrael here. This is going to be really close, huh? Might be chumping with Jolrael anyway. Okay. Well, we'll see what the opponent finds here. Fortunately, like Venerated Loxodon actually isn't a threat because my opponent taking a turn off attacks will just kill them at this point. So it began, opting on my turn doesn't do anything because Jolrael only activates when you draw your second card each turn, and we attacked with Uro, which is how we drew Jolrael, so we weren't going to get a cat off of that anyway. Is coming with everybody. I think using the Giant Killer as a tap effect here makes sense. If it's just these 4, I can actually block. Okay. Super hard decision for them, too. Okay, so they're keeping the Giant Killer untapped. So that means I have to go Borrower because if I make a cat, they just tap my Krasis and kill me. They can tap something with Giant Killer in response to this, which forces me to chump block with Jolrael, which I think is what they were supposed to do. Because me not losing Jolrael means they never get through on the ground again, not ever. Okay. So I go to 2, they can tap Uro. I have the other Uro. I'm going to start making tons of ground blockers. Fabled Passage is a pretty good pickup. Fabled Passage actually means I can just get Uro out again this turn, like another Uro, if they tap the first one. Just gain like a lot of life. We'll start with Opt. Actually, I just start with Uro here, because Opt and Frantic do make another blocker on the opponent's turn here. Gotta be a misclick. For my opponent, you mean? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I feel like tapping the Uro is probably what they were trying to do there. Ooh, another Uro. This card is so stupid. Who allowed this card to exist? It's so stupid. All right, well now I think I just win. Opponent's forced to tap 2 mana every turn just to keep my Uro in check. They now can't kill me with attacks because I've got Jolrael. Oh, look at Krasis. I don't even need to play that. So I'm just thinking about like what crazy stuff they get. They could have like Unbreakable Formation. They could have Fairy Guide Mother actually. So I do want to play Krasis for 2 here so that Fairy Guide Mother doesn't kill me. I guess Fairy Guide Mother kills me anyway, huh? So I could go for like does Fairy Guide Mother kill me? Fairy Guide Mother exactly kills me. Oh well, I guess we're priced into... Wait, if I just Uro, I can't Uro. I'm one card short of Uroing unless I opt into a land. I think I'm just going for Krasis here. It saves me from a bunch of other random stuff that they could have. But Fairy Guide Mother is lethal. Through the Breeding Pool. Oh, but I already played land this turn anyway. Okay, do they have the Guide Mother? Guide Mother's Xaxes. I don't think anything else gets there. Glorious Anthem? Glorious Anthem again doesn't really work because I just get to attack with Uro. Alright, did they find it? Does not seem like they found it. Okay, and that means I just get to attack with Uro. And I think that's curtains. Yeah. This is... We'll never, ever play a deck like this as long as Uro is legal in the format. That is just foolhardy. Foolhardy thing to do. We would have opted into Borrower, it turns out. Hidden information game. Oh, look, Shark Typhoon. Yet another card that is just completely bonkers against what our opponent's trying to do here. Woof. Yeah. Borrower plus Shark Typhoon just means we're absolutely protected against anything they could possibly do now. I think. I haven't really done the math, but I imagine they're toast. Were they on the play? We might have been on the play. That might have been part of it. No, I think they were on the play. There's the other Glorious Anthem, which unfortunately I'm just going to bounce. Which is going to ruin all their math. Also, imagine playing a deck with aggro creatures that get blocked by Brazen Borrower. It's like another source of pain. I'm the bad guy, Tammy.
What are you doing?
I'm playing...
You're playing Uro and gaining like...
I'm playing Uro and gaining like 18 life against White Weenie, yes.
Well, everyone feels like a bad guy playing.
This is true. Guerrakun, no, I don't like Bant Ramp. In fact, I don't like Bant... I mean, it's a good deck, but I don't like seeing it or playing against it. It's very boring. In fact, my whole chat spent a bunch of last stream like telling Bant Ramp jokes to each other, which was really fun. Anyway. Okay, so now I just get to Shark Typhoon. I guess I just go for 5 and then play Op, so I get another cat as well. Yeah, Panther. More like Ban Ramp. Guerrakun, this is not Simic Flash. This is Simic Jolrael Ramp. It's a little bit of a different vibe. So not that much Flash stuff. So we got Llanowar Visionary, and we're just trying to like get tons of mana very quickly. It's this new thing. It's called Ramp. Anyway, this is an Elder Gargaroth matchup, absolutely. This is not a Frantic Inventory matchup. Frantic Inventory is too slow. Unfortunately, it's not an Aether Gust matchup either, for obvious reasons. Wilt kills Glorious Anthem, and I guess like Conclave Tribunal. If I see Conclave Tribunal, I could imagine bringing this in. But in the absence of that, I think I just go for all the oozes I can find. And cut maybe just an opt here. Opt is definitely good for turboing out Uros, though. Could be a borrower. Maybe just one Sublime Epiphany. This is like... No, I want to test Sublime Epiphany and feel out how good it is against these turbo aggro decks. Obviously, it is really... oh, no, I should cut one. I should cut one. I love Sublime Epiphany. I think it might be pretty good even in the aggro matchups, just because it's so hard to lose the turn after you cast one, but... Weracoo, nothing rotated. There has been no rotation yet. Temur Clover is still a deck that I play, and I'm in fact going to play it in my next match on the stream. It got about one card from M21 that I actually like playing, but it is a big upgrade. It's Tormod's Crypt. It's free! Yes, alright, so I'll keep this. Looking to opt into a turn 2 Jolrael if possible. Opponent just dropped Giant Killer on turn 1, which is never a good sign for them. I'm just going to opt now. There's Jolrael, yep. So I could have waited to opt until the end of my opponent's turn to like know more about them, but that takes time and waiting and stuff, and I'd rather just draw the Jolrael and cast it immediately. You mean a Clover iPhone fan? Yep, so Standard is definitely better now than it was in the height of Jeskai Luka times. Unless you were a Temur Clover player, in which case you love Jeskai Luka times and you would love for them to come back. Okay, Glorious Anthem is a tough... it's not that tough though. So now we get to play Llanowar Visionary. We make multiple 2/2s. Which means I can just block Season Hellblade Forever. Look at that, it's Elder Gargaroth. Cool. Hey, thanks for the sub, Barracoon. Glad that I could be one of the folks introducing you back to Magic after Ikoria stuff happened. Okay, the Gargaroths here looking a little awkward. They are pretty expensive. We'll get there sooner or later, though. So this is one of those boards where it's really obvious that Hellblade is just markedly worse than Adonto Vanguard was. They do have a second Glorious Anthem, which is a pain in the butt, but now I just get to double block the Giant Killer, which is fine. I guess they could have Fight as one, in which case, you got me. Nope, no Fight as one. And even if I can't easily block this thing, I can just chump it forever. Alright, we'll just Uro here for the life gain and the cat. SSA, it's from Azumanga Daioh. Really, really funny series. If you're asking about the sub, then it's from Toradora. Alright, so we got plenty of cats to chump block. Next turn I get to start casting Elder Gargaroths, and I think the game ends soon after that. Or if I draw land, I guess get to start casting Hydroid Crasises. Ooh, Tomic. Okay, that's an Air Force. That is an Air Force we've got here. If they attack with Hellblade, I am going to double block it, just to make sure the last card in their hand isn't a Giant Killer, because at that point Elder Gargaroth gets to come down. And Elder oh, no, they're not even attacking. Okay, so now we got some options. I could just go Krasis, make another cat. Making it a 3/3 means I block Loyal Pegasus. Much as I would love to cast Elder Gargaroth, I would really hate to cast Elder Gargaroth and have my opponent's last card be Giant Killer. That's like one of the ways I could see myself losing the game. So I'm just going to go Krasis instead. It's boring, but I think it's the best play. Okay, Fabled Passage is great. Just gets me to Uro faster, which is a big deal. Tomic doesn't do anything about Uro. Sadly for my opponent. Pete's Party Time, probably a lot. I mean, I definitely never board in Gargaroth against ECD decks. It's here for aggro. I'm still not sure if it's better than Voracious Hydra, just because Voracious Hydra being like a 4-mana play is like a really big deal. Okay, opponents decided to try and size up. I don't think that's going to work. I suspect that one's not going to go well for them. But yeah, Teferi is the biggest constraint of Gargaroth. ECD is probably second. Alright, so if I opt, I can just cast Uro out of my graveyard, and that's obviously good. Part of me really wants to cast Gargaroth, but I don't even know it's correct. I just happen to have a draw that lines up really well with what my opponent's doing anyway. Are they dead on board? That's a good question. Oh, they're really dead on board. Alright, so Patrick notices the smart thing, which is that I can just make everything a 6/6 and kill my opponent. Let's do that. GG's. Nice, Venerated Loxodon. I got so caught up in the value that I forgot to kill my opponent. In that way, this deck is exactly like Temur Clover.
Yeah.
Juvile, I think Jolrael's a plausible candidate. If you mean across all formats, it's probably, I think that Jolrael, Village Rights. I guess it depends also if you're talking original cards or reprints. I think for standard that Jolrael is fighting Ugin for that territory pretty well. And Cultivate. Cultivate's also really good.
In the 100s.
I haven't really gained much rank today, but it's been a good time. As to say, you can whisper to me on Twitch, or you can find me on Twitter at Aaron Gertler. Oh yeah, Scavenging Ooze. Yeah, so Scavenging Ooze, probably Scavenging Ooze is actually just number 1, and then everything else is fighting for number 2. But Jolrael does get to play in every Simic deck. If Uro gets banned, I will still try to play her, though. Some Mastery, gonna pick up. Yep, so we're getting to the end of the stream here. Now that Tammy's home and she has pizza, there's a limited amount of time I can afford to keep devoting to this instead of eating pizza. But we will run one match of Temur Clover, as is traditional. I think Temur Clover is kind of middling in the format. It creams Bant Ramp, it struggles against Sultine Reclamation, it kind of clowns a lot of other random kind of weird off-meta things that people build to try and take advantage of Bant Ramp. It's very good against Flash decks, for example. It just feels like pulling on a comfortable pair of shoes, chat. Anything with Yorion in it, probably Edgewell Keeper is very good against. For me to enjoy, no. Treasure Hunt is definitely a funny meme, but it's the opposite of what I like doing, which is playing these like long, grindy, value-oriented games of Magic. Or fierce back-and-forth tempo games. The whole like line up my cannon and shoot it at you, pew-pew strategy has never been all that appealing to me. So this is like black-white Yorion, it would appear. So there's a question of whether I want to jam Fae, Wishes, and draw a card after just go Temple. I think I'm just going Temple. I think Fae has a lot of possible utility later. But I keep Bone Crusher Giant. I think I dump that. I think I'm really looking for Escape to Wilds and Lucky Clover right now above all else. Okay, maybe it is some kind of 4-color Super Friends list then. I don't know what specific list you're referring to, but it does seem like that could be what our opponent's doing. There's the Clover.
It feels so good. The Clover.
The Clover feels so good, yes. You are correct. They might have ways to kill it, and they are playing a lot of colors over there. Hey, Drunken Vico, the emotes have been out for a while. People gotta use them more. Tammy's been doing a good job. Alright, opponent correctly eliminates the Innkeeper, so good one from them. They are not going to like how the next few turns go, unless they have Thought Erasure. If they have Thought Erasure for Fae of Wishes, they might like how the next few turns go. We'll see.
Oh, I would have been.
I just like the idea of Beanstalking more. I don't know. Beanstalking the Clover is also a plausible play, for sure.
I can get the value out of the Clover. Rid of it.
Yeah, I didn't actually think they could get rid of it. They're playing no green that I've seen here. They could just be Esper also. Ooh. Ooh.
Holy.
Obviously, it's tempting here to play Clover, Beanstalk, Beanstalk, and then have 3 mana and a Fae of Wishes in hand. The problem is that then Thought Erasure just makes me cry myself to sleep. And I prefer not crying myself to sleep. So I'm just going to do the kind of mid-ground play of Beanstalk Giant into Double Wish. Make sure I have something good lined up for next turn.
So much.
So restrained, yes. So I will take, yeah, against some kind of weird 5-color control deck. Pretty easy to say, just take Escape once in future. That way, even if they Agonizing Remorse the Escape, I can just get back Innkeeper and keep the cards flowing. It's all about keeping the cards flowing. I could also get Negate. That's a consideration. I think I'm just more about total value since I'm under no pressure. Hey, pizza party time. Not an orthopedic shoe. It's just a good, comfortable shoe. Teferi Time Raveler, not gonna do a lot here. So they could have veto if they have like veto in a discard spell, or are they gonna draw step Thought Erasure me? Woo! Ooh, cute. Positively adorable. But not gonna actually accomplish anything. This is like the ultimate nightmare hand. Like
Yep.
this is the thing you never ever ever want to see in it at all ever. I mean, you take escape. I think you just can't let me cast escape this turn. But it's not the kind of situation where there's really a winning line.
Oh, it's got.
Yeah. Quick reminder, SSA, it's not a big deal, but if possible, it's good to try and avoid using he as the default pronoun for people we're playing against. I do not have any idea who this is.
Oh, I made a command for that.
Ooh, what's the command?
Gender.
Gender. Thank you, Tammy. Okay, so opponent has onboard removal with Tef bouncing back Oath of Kaya. I could double stomp Tef and play Innkeeper, but I'd rather just keep Innkeeper in my hand where it's safe and cozy. So we're just going to go with get more lands and stuff. Play another Clover.
You can change the word.
Yes, they are, SSA. Yes, they are. Appreciate it. Snow Monkey, I mean, you want to tell me what other order you were thinking about so I have a better way to answer the question? There might have been a better sequence that game that I wasn't thinking about. So if I Clover first, I can't do once in future in the same turn. So I started that turn with, let's see, we got 2 lands. So I started the turn with 7 lands in play. If I go Clover into Beanstalk, that's 5, and then I end up on 5 mana, which means I can... Maybe I miscounted somewhere there? Started the turn with 7 lands, could have gone Clover, Beanstalk, once in future. I feel like there's something weird about the math, because playing Clover into Bean versus... You might be right, I might have just missed a land there for no reason. It's very plausible. But it's not going to matter with this one anyway. Opponent can, of course, like get a lot of value off Yorion next turn, but they're going to die inevitably to the flood of things that's about to happen to them. I should have played the Clover first there. That was an error. Did I have the mana? Oh, I didn't have the lands for it. Alright, so now I'll just go Clover. Triple Lovestruck. Yeah, there's I'm not paying. This is one of those games where I'm like doing the nice Clover autopilot mode where sequencing doesn't matter too much because there's no way my opponent ever comes back in a million years. In theory, if they have like Charming Prince to go with Yorion, they can almost start a loop, but then I just kill their... I have enough Bone Crusher Giants to kill all the things that could possibly be looping. And they just don't have enough mana to meaningfully contain everything I'm doing here before they die to Fling. Okay, I actually want to just eat some very small slices. Alright, well, my opponent thinks I'm going to finally eat some of this pizza that I've been smelling next to me for the last 20 minutes.
I brought the entire box in.
You brought the entire box in, chat. It's kind of torturous, but... He's even helping me not get grease on the computer, chat. Knew there was a reason I married her. Okay. Starting here, if I find a Brazen Borrower, I can just return all my opponent's permanents to their hand, at which point they just can't possibly replay enough things to win on only 6 lands. So that's going to be the plan here. Yeah, like I'm literally going to go Clover. They're almost dead to Stomps. They're almost dead to Stomps, but not quite. So again, don't know if this is the optimal play, but there's nothing they can do to stop me here. Goodbye. I'm even going to bounce Omen of the Sea because I honestly don't care. Actually, I shouldn't bounce Omen of the Sea. That's silly. I don't need the Brazen Borrower. Alright, so I'll leave with Omen of the Sea, but I'll bounce everything else. And then hit them for 2. La-di-da. Wasn't quite lethal with the Bone Crushers. Those were only 16 points of stomp damage. So that was not quite it. I'll get unsummon, bounce a Bone Crusher back to my hand for extra stomps, which is nice. I guess I might as well play Innkeeper now. Here.
I'm feeling Innkeeper.
Tammy, hearing you say combo type pizza does make me wonder if different Magic decks were different kinds of pizzas, what kinds of pizzas would they be?
Ooh.
I mean, because I feel like Temur Clover is very much a combo pizza type deck.
It's true. It has all
Okay, so if my opponent minuses Tef, they lose to Fling Expansion because it lets me kill their Tef without having to invest more mana. Okay, so that's game over. Mono White is just plain cheese pizza, yes.
Or like white pizza. He has white pizza too. Gross.
Yeah, I feel like it's not just about colory stuff, it's like about personality. Like, does playing a black deck feel like eating a pizza with olives? Maybe. I hate olives. I hate olives very much. So to me, I would say that to me, Team Reclamation is like eating a pizza with olives because olives are an awful food. Okay, that was pretty good. I think I'm just going to keep the deck the same. I'm just going to keep the deck the same. There we go. Patrick's in with the tough opinions. I feel like, I want to say pizza bagels. It's just like pizza you eat very fast. That like is kind of giving you like the sort of fundamentals of what pizza is, but without all the real pizza feeling.
Cycling.
Okay, maybe cycling is pizza bagels.
You weren't just by recycling?
I'll try mono.
Oh, no. Mono red is still a magic deck.
I feel like cycling is like a plastic pizza.
Just basically pizza.
Ooh, calzone. I feel like calzone is like Commander. It's just like pizza, but like way more of it, kind of stuffed into a bigger package. Olives are the. It's fine when other people eat olives, of course. In fact, I like it when other people eat olives because that means there are fewer olives on the planet that I might accidentally eat. But no, I find them viscerally unpleasant to consume. Broccoli on pizza feels like kind of a control deck thing. It's like you do it because it's good for you. Like it's good to learn to play a control deck. It's good to get the fundamentals of that style down. But it's not necessarily like fun unto itself. Great hand. Possible Brazen Borrower. Like I should have cut one of those for like a I could have cut one of the borrowers for negate. Ooh, opponent not having a turn 2 discard spell is brutal here. Kind of weird sequencing too, but I guess their lands just happen to work out that way. I mean, this is, you know, this game match can still go in any ways. If they can get rid of the Fae of Wishes before I wish for 2 things, then they might be in good shape. Narset Parter Veils isn't bad either. Gonna force me to do some stomping. Hit Ether Gust. Ether Gust is not great. I'm not sure what you mean, SSA. I was trying to say that control is like a thing that... Oh, you mean if it's fun. Yeah, control can also be pretty fun. But I think a lot of people find it kind of dry to play. Maybe it's just me. Alright, so they do get to take away the Fae of Wishes. They still have to deal with the Lovestruck Beast. And they missed a land drop. So that's not a great sign for them, huh? So I could go Innkeeper into Bone Crusher. I think I like Lovestruck Beast first because this puts a lot of pressure on them to like have Cry of the Carnarium or something if they have that in hand, and then Lovestruck comes down after Cry of the Carnarium. I also feel like they're not going to throw out another discard spell this turn. Hey there, Ace of Swords, you're coming in during the last match. It's been a real Clover slugfest so far. Okay, better that than Innkeeper for sure.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Not really any way for me to leave up double blue and possible green mana. But I want to leave up... Okay, I just want to leave up double blue here because if I draw a land, it will, and it's untapped, it'll let me play Borrower end of turn. Fair enough, SSA. Very fair.
Obvious Brazen Borrower.
Certainly is. Alright, so the opponent can Wrath. If they Wrath, I just cast Borrower post-Wrath. And then I have Lovestruck Beast plus tokens as backup, so it's a lot of damage coming in. If it's Teferi Time Raveler, then I will just Brazen Borrower. Yeah, this is just not enough meaningful interaction that keeps up with the pace of what I'm doing here. Gotta keep the Ether Gust in mind as far as like choosing what creatures are attacking Tef. There's just nothing good to bounce here. They can bounce Clover, and if they have a discard spell, they can even take it out of my hand, but then they're taking a 9 damage next turn. Oh yes,
We
absolutely.
need to
Control decks are
become Aaron
difficult to
Goethe
play.
tonight,
I would
Jeff.
never,
That's the goal.
would never doubt that for a second. I think I find them a bit dry because there's a lot of, for me, there's a lot of like kind of sitting and waiting to see what my opponent's going to do, and I like making my opponents react to me. But absolutely, not easy to play control deck. Scrylands, as usual, help me find good stuff. How do I feel about Beanstalk Giant? Yeah, I think the thing is meaningful, and this is like a pretty strong threat. So now I get to go... if I go Innkeeper or Lovestruck, I can't make tokens and cast Beanstalk Giant and use Beanstalk Giant this turn. Actually, why don't I just cast Beanstalk Giant? There we go. This forces the opponent to have removal. Ideally mass removal. And then if they do that, I then get to do Beanstalk into Innkeeper Lovestruck next turn. You can't cast ECD because their Interplanar Beacon is not an actual white source. They might have a Shark. Star Beanstalk just goes to pumps my Beanstalk a little bit. You always want to make sure to get the lands into play before you're attacking when you have one of these out. Perfect. Ironically, having Escape the Wilds on top almost makes me... Yeah, I'm actually going to put that on top. Having Escape the Wilds on top actually makes me want to not draw a card and like make sure I don't draw it so it can't get discarded.
Now you just draw them.
Yeah, so now I get to go, I can just go... Yeah, so I want to do this, play Innkeeper, play Lovestruck, draw the Beanstalk Giant again, have Escape still on top of my library, and specifically, I don't need to leave up mana to use Beanstalk Giant, because if I use Fertile Footsteps, I'm going to shuffle my library. So now we have everything exactly where I want it, where I have this thing to get more mana, I've got a board my opponent has to answer. They are dead unless they can interact with creatures again here, and then even if they pull off a big sweeper, we have the Escape for next turn. So yeah, this is Clover against control decks of all sorts. Never works. All right, that's perfect. So we end up top 100 at the end of the stream. Feels great. Bunch of solid decks. I think Blue-Black Flash is pretty fun to play. I like Blue-Green Jolrael, and I like Temur Clover, of course. So, as always, I'm trying to present options that are not quite in the mainstream that y'all can try and enjoy. And, as always, if you are playing a deck that I have built and you have thoughts on it, you've tried a card and you really liked it, you're curious about whether I would keep or mulligan a hand, you have some gameplay footage you want me to watch, I'm super down to interact in any of those ways. Just hit me up with a whisper on Twitch or a DM on Twitter. Or a Reddit message, any of those work. I stream, for those of you who are newish to the stream, thank you by the way, NS2631 for the follow. Sorry I missed you for a minute. For those of you who are new to the stream, I stream every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday nights, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, usually for 3 hours or a bit more. I'm always looking to do brew stuff. There usually be some mixture of brews and Temur Clover, at least while Temur Clover is around in Standard. And one other thing we like, make sure you follow
to become Aaron Gertler tonight.
Stream
That's the goal.
Days and keep up with it. One more thing that I really like doing is to try and raid somebody at the end of each Twitch stream. So we're going to find someone to raid now. Have a good evening, iPhone fan, and thanks for the follow, Rusty.
We need to become Aaron Gertler tonight,
chat.
That's the goal.
Oh, Danny's online. Oh, so is JR2. Okay, 2 people who I really like raiding. We got a good Danny raid the other day, so I might raid Danny. Let's do that. You raided Danny T. Law?
No, hold up. I need to
Something happened?
read thing.
Hey, New York Nightly, thanks for the subscription.
We need to become Aaron
I really
Gertler
appreciate
tonight,
it.
That's the goal.
And yeah, half your sub money is going to be going to
the
a
card art for
highly
this card
effective charity working in the developing world
I
to
got
improve
it
people's
golden. I
health
didn't
and
craft this
well-being.
golden. I opened it golden and it was
So you're
poggers.
supporting more than just a Twitch streamer, although it also is a huge incentive for me to keep the stream going, the subs and such. Someone says Danny
I
is
could just play it now,
offline.
but I'd rather dump my
Danny
hand
definitely
a bit.
seems to be live.
We can do it now because it'll consistently do it for us when we shutter. We can always Zola the shutter.
No?
If we
Alright,
miss.
well, maybe it's just Alright, we'll
So
raid
we
Jay
can do
then.
it right now.
Alright, so raid's gonna
It's not
kick off
soul-crushing
in. Hey,
enough,
thanks for the
though.
follows.
Not
New York
gonna
Nightly
lie,
and Johnny.
It's not soul crushing enough.
But olives are great though, you know
I
what?
can't do
We
it.
can agree to disagree there. Alright, we're gonna
We
raid
need to do it
Jay.
after
So
the
see y'all.
endings, just to be that triggering.